Bearcat Bounce podcast. Back at it again. It's a Monday. It is a one of those dreary Mondays. One of those Mondays where you wake up and it feels like fall outside, but it's not like a happy fall. It's a sad fall. But even through sad falls, there are happy moments to be had. Speaking of happy moments, we are going to start this pod off not reminiscing on the sad moments from the past weekend, but instead reminiscing on the happy moments and the happy moments that are to come. But it is a Monday following the first loss of the coach Scott Satterfield era. A loss 18 years in the making, I guess you could say. A loss that doesn't ring the bells of many Bearcat fans in a good way, but a loss still that we're going to completely undress and talk about. And I don't know, a loss that still I'm struggling to get through. But you know what? It's also a Monday where I get to bring in guys, bring in pals. Two are away right now. I do have one OG here ready, and then I have another very special guest as well. I'm going to do the intro before we open it. I'm going to mention that we've got a guy who once averaged 12 and 10 at Hingham High School in Hingham, Massachusetts. Basketball, that is. Basketball. Remember, basketball. We'll talk about his football prowess. You might know him of Barstool Sports fame, the beer tweet guy, the zillion beers guy, among many other things. But inside of the 513, he's slowly becoming Cincy Jesus. The man, the myth, the Bearcat superfan, Dana Beers. Dana, how are we? Aaron, how are we? Welcome into the BBP.
What an intro. Oh my God. I was expecting something worse based off of the weekend that I had on the field with the kick and everything and everyone calling me a curse. That was nice. That was very, very, I appreciate that. That makes me feel better about what happened on Saturday. But it's good to be back. It's good to be with the fellas and happy to talk some Cincy with you.
It's one of those you gotta put it behind you. Aaron, what was that?
It was a shit weekend for me.
Yeah.
Not fun football weekend anywhere.
No.
But the show goes on. So here we are.
The show does go on, and the show actually is missing two of its regular people. That's right. Chad is doing the daddy duties with Kelsey, making sure the volleyball games get won and under control. We'll have Chad joining us soon, and of course, Ryan Royer, Mr. Bearcat himself, busiest man in the central Cincy area, I guess you can say. He'll be back on joining us eventually as well. But Dana graces us with his presence. Dana again in Cincinnati. We're going to get to the game. We're going to get to the game. There was plenty of things leading into the game that were exciting, that were of the fanfare, of the things that keep people coming back. First off, we gotta talk about your first meeting with Coach Scott Satterfield, and of course, you get a tour of the campus and different facilities, this, that, and the other. Your thoughts on him and the coaching staff, and kind of this new age as you roll on from the Fickle era into Coach Scott Satterfield.
So I took a nice little tour of the facilities, beautiful facilities. I know we're having some new ones built. I'm not sure when they'll be ready. I think they told me, but I forgot the actual date. But, it was great to meet so many people. I met Coach Satterfield at the facilities, and we chopped it up for about 5 minutes. He basically asked me how I got in the position that I'm in and how I became a Cincy fan, and I told him. And he couldn't have been a nicer guy. He's got that nice Southern drawl. Talked a little bit of football and had a great time. So it was a great meeting. And I'm not gonna lie, I had all the confidence in the world heading into Saturday, based off of all the coaches I met and everything. So, I mean, regardless, I was just so grateful that they opened their arms and welcomed me into the offices. I met the team mom. I met everybody. It was great. The locker room, the weight room, met a couple players. And the funny thing was, I walked into the locker room and I saw like Evan Prater and I think Fletch and a couple other guys, and they were like surprised to see me, or like, oh my God, that's Dana. I was like, holy shit, that's Mason Fletcher.
Yeah.
Like, I was starstruck. So I was like, why are you guys starstruck? Like I'm just as excited to see you guys. So it was cool to really meet some of those guys, and hopefully in the next couple years I can get to know them more personally. But yeah, that Friday was fun. Friday was a great time, and then Saturday wasn't as fun with the result, but still love getting my feet on the ground here in Cincy.
They presented you with the swag bag. You got some of the player exclusive gear because I don't even believe you can buy that hat that you're wearing anywhere currently. I'm not certain that you can get the Nike Cincinnati hat anywhere yet. But you've become kind of a royalty. That's 2 games in, 2 games on the sidelines. You got to shoot off the cannon again. Although the cannon probably should have been shot off more. That's a story we'll get to later. But what's it been like kind of getting treated with such high praise just for being associated with Barstool Sports and still kind of getting, heralded for your whole, which college am I going to pick and sticking with it, might I add?
It's crazy because it's mind blowing because it's just kind of like what I told you when I saw the players. Like, I'm just a normal guy. I don't consider myself anything special. I don't really consider myself at all even close to a celebrity or anything like that. But I do think that the city of Cincinnati and the university and the team has been long overdue just for more exposure. And I think that's what people appreciate about what I'm doing is that I am lucky enough and blessed enough to have a platform like Barstool and, a good amount of followers that I can talk to about this team, about this, this atmosphere, the people here. So I think, people that don't even know who the hell I am, I think they just get excited to see Cincinnati getting more national spotlight. And that's what Barstool is. It's a national platform. So I'm happy to use it to talk about Cincy. But like I said, I'm not anything special. And I was here with my producer over the weekend, and I was like, I think we came back from the UC tailgates, and we couldn't walk more than like 30 seconds without someone asking for a picture. And I'm like, me? This guy? I'm not. Oh, you're asking for a picture of me? I'm just a dude. But I love it. I eat it up. I love attention, so I'll keep it going. But I like to think I'm a humble, down to earth guy, and I'll never let it get to my head. So I'll take a picture with anybody. I'll talk to anybody. But it's been really cool. You want to invite me on the field, I'll do it. But I think next weekend I'm sitting in my seats for sure. I don't think I need to go down again. I think there's talks of a curse, and I'm like, I keep saying I don't want to say Cincinnati has been cursed before me, but they haven't exactly.
It has.
No,
they haven't been
100%.
exactly used to overall success. I mean, I know the football team went to the college football playoff, and the Bengals have been really good lately, but I don't think I'm the reason for anybody losing. I think there's been a somewhat of a troubling times before, but listen, I'll take it if you want. I'll take it on the chin if you want to take your frustration. That's fine. If you need a punching bag, anyone out there, that's okay. I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, when it comes to that, there's plenty of like key buzzwords that Cincy fans hear, like Nevada. You mentioned that they all cringe. Kenyon Martin mentioned that they all say, "Gosh, we love him," and then they think about the other thing that happened, the broken leg, and then of course you mentioned numerous other things, and people really think that the city's cursed. Yeah, Vontaze Burfict,
Georgia field goal.
Yeah, I mean the whole city. So believe me, Dana, it's not just you. But I don't want to get too Saturday yet. I want to do one more question as pertains to Friday, because you've not only embraced the city, but you've embraced the culture. And one of the biggest things of the culture is, you bet it, Skyline chili. And that is one of the tastiest things. It's the reason why I'm overweight. And, it's the reason why I just keep going back. But I'm going to give you a little FMK. I take kind of a Jake Marsh approach to this podcast. I don't really curse on the pod, but off the pod, it's a sailor. But on the pod, we're going to go F, Marry, Kill. So boink, Marry, Kill, boink. And it's going to be something else that you tried for the first time this weekend, and that's Cincy Light. Everyone is loving Cincy Light. It's a Cincy Reigns tasty beer. I'm sure you had about 30. I did at Pitt. But Cincy Light.
You do know that the every dollar you spend with Cincy Light, I believe 30 cents goes to the collective. So
in every case it goes to them too.
Yeah.
So, boink, marry, kill. The chilito that you had with the French fries and the pasta inside.
the Godfather style.
Yes, that's Godfather style. If you didn't, Dante Corleone gets the. I don't think he does the pasta in there. I think he does just the fries, but still, it's a combination that I need to continue to indulge in, or a regular cheese coney, or the Cincy Light. A little boink, marry, kill for you.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize if I've sworn because
You can.
We
can
swear. Brent doesn't swear. You're fine.
I
You can
dropped.
fucking swear. It's just it's just.
Man, I swear like a sailor. I gotta tone it down. But
I do a bunch too. But
let's see. All right, I'm gonna go. You know what, boys?
let's hear it.
I got Skyline for dinner last night again. And then at the Bengals game, I had 2 conies. So I think I had like 5 conies yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Those are like shooting up my power rankings by the day every time I have them. I just all I do is put a little hot sauce on. I'm pretty plain. I just have the cheese, the chili, and the dog. I would say I'd boink that. I would boink the coney. And I don't know. I think they packed on the fries on my chilito, and I probably should have just gone spaghetti because the fries were a little overwhelming.
Okay.
I want to taste the cheese.
Right.
I want to taste the sour cream. All I was really tasting was cheese or fries. It was still amazing. I'd have to kill it. I'm sorry, Cholito. I'm sorry. And that means I'm marrying Cincy Light. I had my first couple over the weekend, and I love what they're doing with the NIL. It's genius. I love that directly helps the university and helps our athletes. Like, I think that's amazing. And it tastes great. I think I gave it a 4 million out of 10 or something. I just sometimes I black out when I make those videos. I don't know what I said, but I think I gave it a 4 million out of 10. I met the owner of Cincy Reigns at the game. He was such a good dude. I'm really bad with names. So
friend of the show, B Fox.
Yes, and I got his number, and hopefully we're going to be talking about some hopeful collabs in the future. But Cincy Light, I'm marrying that all day. I will get on a knee, take you to the altar, and you're mine for life.
You can do a quick shout out to Pirate Water real quick if you want to.
Shout out Pirate Water. I love Pirate Water, malt beverage, 10% ABV. Drinkpiratewater.com. Listen, I think they're 2 different things, though. I mean, I love drinks of all shapes and sorts. So
same,
but don't forget your Pirate Water.
Same.
A former podcast host of mine is in the chat here, and he asks, "Who could eat more cheese conies, me or Dana Beers?" He ate, I think it was 8 and a puke. We were trying to eat 12 to have Sean Casey on our show. Sean Casey, love him. He felt bad that he did actually puke after 8, but he had 8 and then puked on the 9th. So do you think you could eat more than 8 in a sitting?
Buns and everything, that's tough. I would say if it were really a life and death situation, I could get to 10, I would say. I mean, I threw down 5 last night without an issue, like easy peasy, and I wasn't full. So I think I'd definitely get to 8, and if I needed to, I could probably get to double digits.
There you go, Chad.
8 is when the problem set in.
That's when the tummy gets rumbling.
8 is when your stomach is like, I think that's enough. I think that's enough, and then you start 9, and you're like, that should have stopped at 8.
I think 100%. I could do more than 9.5. 100%.
But it's funny, like people will ask me, like people from home and from the Northeast, and they're like, "Wait, you really like that Skyline chili stuff?" And I'm like, they don't realize that I like anything that is caked on with cheese and is greasy. So I'm like, yes, I love this. Don't talk until you try it.
Here's what you tell them to make them understand it a little easier, Dana. It's not actually Cincinnati chili. It's Greek.
Yeah. I saw that on the menu the other day. I was pretty surprised.
The families are the people that created that were all from Greece. Like, for whatever reason, the Greeks put cinnamon in their chili. Like, it's not something that, like, some dumb asshole in Cincinnati was like, I'm gonna put cinnamon and chocolate in it. No, like it's an authentic like Greek recipe for whatever reason.
Yeah, man, I'm obsessed. I was like thinking about getting it tonight for dinner. I'm like, all right, I can't go 4 days in a row. My toilet doesn't need that.
Have you hit on graters yet?
No, so I'm doing a couple reviews this week. I'll be doing that. I'll be doing Geta. That's how you say it, right? Geta?
Geta.
Yeah.
Geta is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. There's a chili place in Kentucky that I think it's Empress that has like a pizza I want to try. There's a couple other things. I want to do the Sky Rosa at a Reds game. So this week, while I'm editing all these videos in between, I'm going to try and get some things I want to try food-wise in as well.
Geta's fantastic. The best way to do Geta personally is an omelet.
So it could be a breakfast food?
Oh, it is a breakfast food.
It is a breakfast. It's
Oh,
a breakfast
it is?
meat.
I thought it was just like a meat you have at dinner.
It's
No, it's
sausage and
breakfast
oats.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get it for breakfast tomorrow then.
That's good.
It's definitely a breakfast deal.
Is there like any places that specialize in it, or is it just everywhere?
So
not everywhere.
it's not everywhere. You have to hit like a local spot, like somewhere like mom and pop, family owned. The
Taste
main
of Belgium's
one
got
is Gleer's.
some.
Yeah, the main one is Gleer's. There's a butcher at Findlay Market. If you haven't done Findlay Market, that might be worth checking out. It's pretty cool. Called Eckerline. That's one of the top 50 butchers in America, and they make their own Geta there. That's really good. They'll make you like a Geta like breakfast sandwich at Eckerline.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's very good.
Could be worth it. Yeah,
That's
I think
right around the corner from Rheingeist as well. If you wanted to pop into Rheingeist.
Oh yeah, I got what 8 days left. I got plenty of time to get a lot of stuff done. So
There you go.
At Rheingeist, you can get growlers of Cincy Light, like 32 ounce big boys.
Yeah.
be worth it. You can eat Skyline 5 straight days. I can tell you from experience, but like you said, I wouldn't advise you to do so. Just be careful on that one. But yeah, definitely try graders out too. It's unbelievable. And Dave tried it out. I think what was it? Tommy Smokes tried Skyline, loved it. So
Yeah, listen, anytime somebody comes in and is surprised by it, I'm like, okay, I get it, but it shouldn't be a surprise. People have been saying how good it is forever.
Yep.
You know?
Graders, their big thing is the black raspberry chip.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of DMs. I put up like an Instagram story asking what I should try, and its majority was try Grader's blue, or what was it, blue raspberry?
Black raspberry
Or
chip.
black raspberry, yeah. That's
but
been
the chips aren't chips. They are like
Pieces of
they're
candy bar.
They're glaciers, but they
I like how
taste
Cincy likes to eat too. I'm a big boy. I like to eat. So this
Hell
is
yeah.
I love it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, speaking of surprising, it's a good segue here. Saturday was pretty doggone surprising. We've done enough fluffing up to this point. Let's go ahead and dive right in. First off, let's talk about the kick. We not the kick that fans are probably thinking of that was at the end of the game. I'm talking about the kick that you had, where you came out onto the field, ironclad in your Skyline jumpsuit, looking ready to set that crowd on fire, baby. I tell you what, I just saw your shoes, and right away I was like, man. I turned to Aaron in the press box. I was like, this is going to be tough.
Dude, I didn't have it. I had 3 minutes of preparation. I wouldn't have worn Air Force Ones if I knew I was. I was like, I was fired up that I got chosen and had the chance, but I was like, I'm not going to make this. There's no chance.
So it's not on you. It's on Sarah Elise.
I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to throw blame around. I'm just going to say, if I knew, give me even 12 hours of notice, I would have been at the turf field across from my Airbnb right now, kicking field goals for 6 hours. No joke, would have been doing that. I would have gone to Dick's and bought some some cleats.
No, let it out.
Size 12, and I would be going through the uprights for 12 hours. So that's my excuse. Now, the kick itself was a ground ball to left field, whatever, to shortstop. But my other spin zone for this is I'm in the business of clicks. I'm in the
Yeah.
business of getting people to watch me.
Yeah.
That thing's over 1 million views.
I think it's better that it was so bad. If it was like off the post or if it was like a line drive, I don't know if people would be talking as much. But the
So
fact
bad
that it
it's good.
was so bad, it's like, okay, that's some saving grace.
You know what they're not talking about? It actually still almost went through the uprights.
That was killed
It was
someone.
no, it's onside kick style. On the second bounce, it took a huge like up, like it actually was up in the air, like over the upright. It just was middle of the end zone and not.
Well, yeah, the fun part about it was like, so it's always when you do something at Barstool and it's very unathletic, like usually everybody starts to get involved and people like to hop on it and make fun of you, which I was saying earlier on the show, like I busting balls is my humor, so I am more than happy to be made fun of. So it was like, all right, people are talking about it, people are, thinking it's funny. So like I was like, that's okay. As long as I don't make myself look like a total fool. But I keep thinking about it like every couple hours. I'm like, if I made that kick, that place would have gone berserk. It could have changed the momentum of the game. Who knows?
I literally turned to Aaron and said that. I was like, dude, this place is ready to erupt.
I know.
But hey, man.
But when you dropped the catch by 90, it got loud.
Oh yeah.
I keep watching it back, and then it's a really loud boo, and then a pretty good pop when I get down and do some push-ups.
Yeah,
so
the push-ups. Yeah.
That's
wide base on the push-ups too.
Man, Nippert really was bringing the noise. I'm like, that's my first Nip at Night experience, and it did not the crowd noise did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's nowhere for you to hide during that moment. You just you ran around and then push-ups is the only thing I got.
I was like high-fiving people. Like, why am I high-fiving people? I missed. What was that for?
You missed bad.
It's another one of those moments where you kind of black out and you don't know what to do. It's like everyone's kind of standing there. I'll go for a high five. I don't know. But it was to your question. I mean, it was really loud, and that I think I kept switching sides of the end zone. I was with Chad for a little bit, and then I would go to the other side and see the fans. But it's just too bad that that's how it turned out, because that place was packed and obviously everyone was fired up. But I mean, it just goes to show you just how enthusiastic that place can get and how fun it is. So shitty way to end it, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you can now attest it is one of the best settings in college football. That stadium at night.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to LSU, I've been to Michigan, I've been to a lot of these games. I've been to Tennessee, South Carolina when South Carolina upset them, and Nippert was arguably louder than all three of those. So, and especially it's not as big as those stadiums, but it still packs a punch for sure.
Well, there's just nowhere for the sound to go. Like you're in a hole, like trapped in the middle of campus. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So many of those places are in big open spots where the noise just goes up and out.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, like I said, not the best result, but I was just happy to get that first Nip at Night under my belt.
Yeah, but even this weekend, big noon kickoff coming into town. Oklahoma, first Big 12 game. I don't know if you've heard about like the Big 12 tailgate, what they're doing. They go to each new member of the Big 12 and they kind of have a tailgate. They bring a DJ, they bring Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, they bring this, that, and the other. It's kind of just a whole party that they bring in. So that atmosphere was wild, and Nip at Night's always crazy. But this Saturday, hopefully still, even after the loss, it's going to have that same bravado, that same juice, and you're going to still be in town. So that's something to look forward to. Are you planning the same type of brigade other than, sitting in the seat maybe? What up, Royer?
What up?
What's up? I would say this time, so last weekend or on Saturday, we did a video like at the frats, and then we went to I don't know what you would call it, but it's not the
grid,
Bearcat,
I think.
The grid, yeah. This weekend, I don't think I will go to the frats. I think I've first of all, I'm way too old to be there, but it's great content, so it's hard to not show up because those kids will say anything under the sun. But I would say this week I'll probably just stick to kind of like that grid area and wherever the big noon kickoff is. And then at the game itself, I don't need to do all the antics on the field. I think I did that, that Saturday was enough for me. I just want to enjoy the game and kind of chill. And I will not be wearing my Skyline outfit. I'm just wearing regular Cincy clothes.
Whoa.
Bearcats,
Is this an official retirement announcement? Or
I don't know if it's a retirement, but more of just like, let's try something new because it didn't work
spaghetti
out.
tech.
No more spaghetti tech for this weekend at least.
Royer, welcome in, brother. We got Dana. We were telling Dana, you'll pop in whenever. He said he might have saw you at the before the game a little bit.
Dude, no, he's talking about being too old to be at the frats. My ass was at the frat place he was at, so I was just as embarrassed as he was. But
you're way younger than me.
I know. I got dragged in there with the girl, but still not the best scene, man. I turned 25 tomorrow, actually. Not the best scene.
Hey.
To be fresh on the 25 life with at a frat at a Delta, whatever the hell we were at. Do you remember? They were loving him there, man. He couldn't move. I feel bad for him.
Is that the one like right on Calhoun or off of Calhoun? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
that's right there.
Basically, I was like, I'm just gonna walk down this row of frats and hopefully get some really good sound bites for my video, and that's exactly what happened. But you're right, like it was kind of I couldn't really walk 2 feet without somebody like sticking the camera. I'm like, all right. It wasn't annoying. It was more just like I want to film videos. I want to do interviews. And when people are kind of all over you, it's tough. But we got what we need to get. And I think, dude, I'm 30. Like, I would not be at a frat party if I didn't think it would be great content. But I'm just, dude, my body can't take it anymore. Just the shotgun.
21 in you wasn't getting all hyped up, trying to rip out like a Wolverine or something.
It's in me. I just can't shotgun and chug like I used to. But these young kids that like to think I can.
I saw you shotgunning with the boy, that Bengals fan.
Drew,
yeah. You kicked his ass.
Yeah,
he was kind of struggling. He was doing the old like.
That's all part of it.
Lateral.
Yeah, it's all.
He was slow out of the gates, man. Yeah. Real slow out of the gates.
You got to make sure you're. It's not just the chug. It's the crack. It's the everything. But he was a good dude. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, you dominated him. Let's put on your fan hat real fast before we let you go. One thing you think the Cats need to fix heading into the Saturday. The Saturday's a massive game, obviously. Chance to bounce back, a chance to take down a team that's looking unreal in Oklahoma. So just one thing you would fix or you think they need to.
It just feels like there's a lot of times where there's just some poor decision making. I don't know if it's really turnovers because I don't think they have a ton of turnovers, but I don't know, man. I think the run games look good. I don't think the pass game has been great.
Yeah.
I would say decision making from Emory. I don't know. Like that game should never have been even in overtime.
No.
But it just felt like there was like mistake after mistake to just not put them away or not even like it felt like they should have been up just from the jump, but it felt like they were never leading. So
right.
I would say probably some decision making, but it's tough to really pinpoint something. I don't think it's coaching. I don't think it's defense. It's just mistakes, like mental mistakes here and there.
Agree. Red zone. Whew.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that doom and gloom. We're not going to let you go on a sour note, but anything else from you, Aaron and Ryan? I know, Danny, you gotta head out here soon.
I'm good, man. We appreciate you. I mean, I don't know. Everyone's saying you're the curse, man. I don't know. You might be, dude. We can just leave it on the spaghetti tech jumpsuit.
I think
That
it's
might
the
be the
young
curse.
fans. I think it's the young.
At 45, I will tell you, Dana, it's nothing to do with the curse. This is just being a Cincinnati sports fan.
That's what I said.
That's what we
This
said
is-
earlier, Chad, before you
This
got
is
here.
what it is.
He did mention that.
This is just our life. This is who we are. This is, there's nothing we can do about it. We weren't born in the mud. We just live there.
I think it's a lot of the younger fans that are in college now that are calling me a curse that really haven't seen the Bengals or the whatever. I think that's the people who are chirping me, which, again, that's fine. Take your anger out. If you need a punching bag, I'll be your punching bag. I'll be the scapegoat. But I don't think it's me, man. I think like I said, there's been some good years the last couple of years, but to my knowledge, this is just pretty, par for the course.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. So
It's better than I thought it was going to go so far this year, at least.
I didn't think they were going to beat Pitt. So I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we'll take. And my other spin zone is it's not a conference win or not a conference loss, so we're okay. I know it's awful, but listen, we might have.
Season starts now.
Yeah, season starts on Saturday.
I would like Chad's opinion. That felt like one of the darkest days in Bearcat recent history. I have to admit.
Royer, you were 6 the last time that the Bearcats lost to Miami.
I know.
Think about that.
I was a young pup, bro.
Well, young pup.
I
like
played
this, and then this, and then
I watched your whole
favorite
entire
basketball
2017 season, Royer.
Yeah, that's not like when I say
Dude, you guys
darkest
almost got
day,
dog walked by Ohio U in.
Listen, man, a dark day is something that just like hits you when you're not ready for it and just stings and it just hurts super bad. It's kind of like we sucked ass my freshman year. We all knew we sucked. We didn't think Miami. Brent, what were we saying to each other before the game when we were dapping up?
Man, no.
We're gonna be rich. That's what we said.
I said, hey, I said, can you believe that spread's only 14, man?
Oh man, that was my dumbass line. I was saying to a bunch of people like everyone that hopped on the spread. We're gonna be.
I
rich.
put a lot on it.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
Put a lot on it.
Years. You can blame it on us for fucking talking money and thinking we had it in the bag. I don't. You got to take the punches though, as a new fan.
That's what
you're
it is.
taking them well.
It can't all just be sunshine and roses when I come in here and take my tours of the stadium or whatever. Like, if I'm going to do that, I got to be ready for what comes with that. And that's being called a curse. I'm fine with it. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
Look,
It
not
is
everybody can be
hilarious.
Dave, where he starts a business and then Boston wins every championship in every sport for a decade.
That's true. And people do tend to forget that I am a Patriots fan, so I'm not a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
So even if I do curse the Bengals, that's probably a good thing for me as a Pats fan.
Right. Well, yeah, and also just show people Dave's half court shot at what was that, a Magic game next time they bring up your field goal.
Listen, us at Barstool, we are not athletes. We never will be. We write about athletes. We make fun of athletes, but we'll never be athletes, especially myself.
I mean, even
Hey,
Biz
the
is really an
push-ups, though.
athlete.
The push-ups were the
Biz?
ultimate save.
Biz, yeah.
Oh, the push-ups weren't bad. Biz is
That was
washed.
KG.
What'd you say?
So that's you going back to you. You had to have been a C's fan growing up, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
That was your KG bag right there. Doing
know,
the push-ups.
I know. I mean, I got a little something left in me from 2011 when I played basketball, but I don't know. The kicking is never going to happen.
Are you doing anything with basketball this week?
I met Coach Wes Miller at the game very briefly. I got some of their contacts. I don't think so, but
I mean, I
if
can
they
help you out
invite me
with
to
that.
something, I'll probably go. But he was a really nice dude. We talked for like 30 seconds, but he was super pumped to talk to me. And I was like, again, you shouldn't be pumped to talk to me. I am starstruck by you.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'll text you.
You
I'll
are a
set something up.
celebrity here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what Cincy does, though. They embrace good things, and Danny, you've been a good thing, man. So
I'm telling you, the video I'm working on right now from the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've laughed out loud like no less than 100 times with all the funny content and the video and the interviews and Bengals fans like dressed up as WWE characters. It's like they're so passionate, and as an unbiased guy from the Bengals perspective, at least, it's like I'm just here to talk to funny people and get some good videos off the ground, and you guys are making it easy. So I appreciate it.
well, and then the Bearcats. You can be a legit loyal fan to the Bearcats, baby. We'll keep that train rolling.
I
No
got
doubt
you.
about that.
I'm here
No
for
doubt.
life. I got the tattoo. I'm here for life.
Oh, that too. Yeah, true. Tattoo's nice. Nice.
Maybe we'll get you one-on-one with like Aziz or something.
With who?
Aziz Bendago. It's like a
Oh.
7'1" shot blocker.
I thought you said something else. My bad. I was like, who's a cease?
Aziz.
He was
I'm
getting
down.
one of those
I'll play
tricks.
one-on-one. I'll play one-on-one. I mean, I'll challenge anybody as long as what I actually was going to do as a series was going to be like, I'm going to play anybody one-on-one, but they can't be over 5'6", and they can't have played basketball past JV. But I will play anyone that doesn't have either of those.
You don't want to go one-on-one with Edgerrin James's kid?
He would. I mean,
Jizzle.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jizzle.
Jizzle.
Is he here now, or is he?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he would put in work. I wouldn't even dribble the ball.
12-10 all day against 5'6" and no basketball past JV, huh? All day, man.
That'd be a good series. I think I would beat a lot of people.
So Ryan, you want to play one-on-one against Ryan?
I'm like 5'10", and I played varsity basketball, but I didn't play a lot on the court. You know, I was a little bit of the bench guy, kind of like my football days here. But we still had a good time.
You were the grinder. You just morale guy.
Rebound, set picks,
the enforcer.
rebound.
Oh yeah,
Everybody
real good picks.
needs it. Every team needs it.
Yeah.
Just don't
Pick guy.
don't agree to play the fan game with Ryan.
I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked about it.
fan.
Told you about it.
You did. Yes. Oh yeah.
They just
We'll
put
get
their
it.
heads in a spinning
If
fan.
the Bearcats beat
Moving
Oklahoma,
fan.
Dana, we're putting you in a fan. Can you commit
Oh
to
yeah,
it?
I like.
I'll
this.
do it first to show you that it won't hurt you, but
I'm gonna let Chad be my PR guy here. Yes or no?
There's
Chad?
only been one person go to the hospital, right? Your brother.
yeah, my brother.
The whole
But he's stuck
BVP
in-
will do it. How about that?
No.
He stuck his head too far up.
Yeah.
There's a gray area. You got to keep it above the eyebrows. You don't want any splits. So
No promises.
we test it though. We put our hand up in it sometimes, see if it hurts. But
No
Gotta
promises.
check the speed.
yeah,
Turn that down. Turn that down one. Down one.
yeah, literally, it's no, yank the cord. All right, that one's good. All right, throw someone's head up in it. We're good.
Totally. All right. Well, Dana, let everyone know real quick where they can see the videos when they come out, and tell everyone to be excited because what's the Dark Knight saying? Like it's only dark before the light or something. I don't even know.
Yeah,
trying to get everyone excited to get up in this place.
check out
No,
my
I still have
YouTube,
to-
Dana Beers, BEERS, as in beers that you drink at a Bearcat game or a Bengal game.
Yeah.
Listen, boys, it was not a good weekend, but it's going to be okay. No matter what happens, we're in the Big 12, and you always have to find a spin zone for something. It was a non-conference game, okay? If we beat Oklahoma on Saturday, then we can start really talking about how this team and this university is fitting into the big boys, okay? This is our chance, all right? So do not come in here with the Miami of Ohio MAC. I don't care about the MAC. It was a war. We're just making sure our guys didn't get hurt, whatever. It's the Oklahoma game that matters, okay? And I know Ryan's laughing down there, but there's a chance. I don't know what the spread's going to be. It's not
14 and a half.
Okay. What was the Red
Don't
Hawks?
bet it then.
What
Do
was the
not
Red
bet
Hawks?
We were
Like I said,
14-point favorites, so hey.
Exactly. So
Because
do not,
we all have to bet take Oklahoma in the points to kind of reverse the mojo.
So, I mean, listen, it was a bad weekend, but I think by Thursday, everyone's going to be back to normal with getting fired up and getting excited. So, I'll be here. I won't be as in the mix as I was on Saturday because it's about those kids out there. It's not about me. It's not about
It's
me.
because it's a noon game, not a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah. There's actually, there's a very funny clip of there was a flag in the end zone, and I was pointing at it like all fired up, excited, like as if it was on Miami. And then they called it on Cincinnati, and I was just like, I look like the dumbest guy in the world. I was like literally next to the flag, like laying down next to it. They're like, oh, it's on Cincy. I'm like, oh no, that was a bad look. It's a funny clip, but yeah, thank you boys for having me. Anytime you need me, happy to talk to you and happy to be in the mix. So yeah, let's go Cats. Cats by 90.
I'll text you. I'll see if I can get you in with some of the basketball guys this week for something.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
All right. Appreciate you,
Thanks,
Dana.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you, sir.
man.
Later, boys.
Dana.
Go Cats.
There you go.
Well,
Dana Beers.
oh, Dana Beers, man. Yeah. So
Right now,
funny thing
Can I
was
talk about my anger and frustration and sadness,
yes,
or do we
we'll
want to
get
keep?
there.
Hold on. We have to.
No, we'll get
we've
there.
Gotta,
we'll get there. But it was
we
funny
got a
because
timestamp.
so it was after the Pitt game. It's about 12:30 a.m., 1 o'clock, and I see Malik Van and Dana tweeting back and forth at each other. I immediately hit up Dana. I'm like, gotta come back on the BVP. We gotta get the team hype. We're looking good, like fired up, obviously. And of course, we go out and lose to Miami. It's like, God damn it. It's still fine. It's still fine. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Chad, go ahead.
Before we get
Before
to this before we get to the time
Before it, because
we
Aaron,
still need to do
because
the
Aaron,
original
because-
Danco read.
well, I was about to do it because the wheels kind of came off a little bit. You know, it was a team needed an oil change. Every time they hit the red zone, it's like they drove into a pothole. If that happens to your car, you can head
All
over
the
to
wheels fell
Danco.
off.
Yeah, you can head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. It's going to be an expensive fix, but you'll get 10% off if you mention the BBP. You get that oil change, you'll get $10 off. You mentioned the BBP. You mentioned Chad, mentioned Aaron, mentioned Royer. Hey, mention Dana Beers. See if Danco Joe hooks it up. He will. So Danco Transmission and Auto Care. We love you, Danco. Thank you for everything. Now, Chad, what's the timestamp?
Are we sure?
100% sure.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. All right, have at it, Royer.
31-24, Miami pulls out the win. First win in 18 years. Royer, you were 6 years old last time that a loss like this took place. Floor is yours, man.
I guess the one positive note I will put in is when you go back, if you go back and if you start the game at the 14-minute mark in the first quarter and you watch it without a scoreboard, you would think that we won by a decent amount.
Yep.
Then if you take that point, you take that touchdown off the board and you get 2 or 3 of the red zone trips as touchdowns, or let's throw in the wide open D Wiggins to end the first half as well. We're up by that's like over. It's damn near a 30-point swing in the first half. That game's over. But you let up a touchdown in the first half, first play of the game, and you don't convert at all in the red zone. You have a 4th down play on the 4th and 1. Then you have a whole different ball game. And then icing on the cake, you have every bit of chance to just skate by ass fucking backwards win by 3, and you get a fucking field goal blocked with 10 seconds left to go in the game. And then you watch the victory bell get rang on the CPAW. And I mean, it's just.
Were you ready to fight?
It's actually, I went to the game with my girlfriend. You guys met her before the game, and we're up there, and I'm like joking around with her about my bet. Like, oh yeah, like, sorry, babe, lost us $100, no dinner for you, like shit like that. And I'm like, all right, we'll still just freaking win. And they lose. And she's like, she thinks I probably just want to get out of there. She's like, all right, like, come on, we can just go. I'm like, no, we have to watch. So I just stood there, just watched the bell getting rung, just them jumping up and down. She obviously didn't really understand why, but she had to sit there with me and in pain. But I don't know. Do you guys agree with that? Kind of like,
yeah, they dominated everything but the scoreboard. Like that's a game that they win 9 times out of 10 if you play it almost, like straight up the way that they played it, like almost 600 yards of offense. Like, guys, the red zone stuff. They had 6 touchdowns and 9 trips to the red zone, 3 field goals. They were 9 for 9 coming into this game. It's not like it was something like a pattern that was developing. It was something that was specific to this game. And like at some point in time, like I know a lot of people were upset. Like, is it the play calling? Is it like, it doesn't matter. Execution wise, you should be able to line up at the 2-yard line and score against Miami. Like, like
100%.
Let's not like try to overcomplicate things here, or like create things to be mad about. Put the ball in the damn end zone from the 2-yard line against an inferior opponent. Like that's what it comes down to. Like, man up, win your blocks, win your assignment, get the ball in the end zone. Like, you can't let Miami big boy you at the 2-yard line over and over again. There was 8 snaps from the 2-yard line, 17 snaps from the 10 and in, and they scored 2 touchdowns. Or no, 1 touchdown.
I think they won. Their D line kind of set the tone on it wasn't like they were dominating our O line, but like the expectations, our O line played so damn good versus Pitt against arguably one of the best defenses, top 3, like we were talking about last week, top 3 defenses we're going to see all week. Mm-hmm. Very good run stopping, very good front 7, and then we come here and we just, I think Miami outplayed expectations greatly, especially in the short yardage. And I've talked about this before. In the red zone, it's hard. It's advantage to the defense to keep you out of the end zone because the passing game, gets like cut down by 90%. Essentially, it's just who's got the fucking coyones, who's going to stop the run, and they were stopping the run, and that's inexcusable because. I don't know if Satterfield felt that we couldn't get the job done, so he didn't want to just say, all right, fuck these guys, we're going 4 runs in a row, you fucking stop us. Because sometimes I felt like the offense in general went stale at some points during the game. I think because we were better than them on paper, man on man, maybe they were kind of scheming up like, we're going to run the ball at them more. We're not going to kind of have that dynamic feel of like the motion, the triple option. Because we're just better than Miami on paper. Like we should be able to run the ball on them. We should be able to get open one-on-one more conventionally. And I just felt that the game plan kind of was hitting the fan, and I would have liked us to react a little bit better in terms of going back to being more dynamic on offense, getting the motion out there, get the triple option look out there with the motion, especially in the red zone, inside the 10. One, because what I tell you guys about the triple, it's a numbers game. And when you don't have space in the red zone, you need numbers. So let's isolate these fuckers as much as possible. Let's get them out in the triple, kind of like how we tried to do on the one play where the on the where their safety made a hell of a tackle on Emery. Stuff like that with motion across, I would have liked to see a lot more of, especially with the red zone struggling. But and then on defense, I think they had a really good scheme to kind of like fizzle out our pressure by let's get guys going quick in the seams, in the holes of coverages where we can avoid pressure and we can also avoid them getting time to get in their zone spots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They seem like Miami answered well. They played well. They had a good game plan. They outperformed their expectations and we underperformed, and we had the worst losses probably in a long time.
Yeah.
They still only completed 12 passes. Like, it wasn't like they were throwing all over the place. Now, what they did take advantage of is when you put a safety to double their number one wide receiver or to shadow their number one wide receiver over the top,
opens
now
up.
you don't have that extra body in the box for the quarterback. I mean, he was just exiting through the A gap. Like, he wasn't scrambling and rolling out. He was waiting, and as soon as it wasn't there, straight through the A or B gap and up the field. And, you know, I think they spied Dingle once. They spied threats once that I noticed. But other than that, like, they were trying to cloud Larvadine or whatever the hell his name is, that, you know, with the guy over the top of him. And that left the middle of the field pretty wide open for whenever Gabbert, like, credit to him. He had great feel for it. Like, he did a great job escaping right out the front door.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Roy, you can attest to this. When you kind of game plan against one thing, you know, coming into the game, Brett Gabbert, I'm sure that he wasn't circled as a potential rushing threat by any means. But
not like that.
No, not at all. I mean, I think he had something like 400 total yards in his 6-year career, and he just got a bulk of it in this game. Almost a fourth of it in the game on Saturday. But do you feel like the adjustment was good enough? Because I mean, even in the overtime, it was the first play was Brett Gabbert finding a crease in the pass rush and then taking it however many yards, 17 yards or whatever it was to get a first down and then set them up first and goal, and then they scored on the next play. It seemed like, you know, once you start to slowly see this is happening, then you probably do need to have that spy a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted you to do, because then you take off the double on Larvadine and you can try to go over the top or like go big play to him. Like, that's what they're trying to bait you into doing by doing that. And, you know, it's just the chess match.
I mean,
the game with
the pass rush just was never getting home. So it's like, why
that's
not
the problem.
One of those guys that was blitzing and holding back. You know what I mean?
Brent, that is inherently the problem with a team that gets the ball out fast. Like, we talked about this going into the Pitt game, or the Eastern Kentucky game, not the Pitt game. Like, if a team does exactly that, 1-2 bang, 1-2 bang, like, get the ball out, the pass rush is never going to get home, because for that it requires just somebody running free in order to get to the quarterback on time. Like, if there's any resistance at all, the ball's already gone by the time the pass rush gets there. Like, that's the inherent, right, Ryan? That's the inherent flaw with everybody up the field, is you can quick game it to death.
Yeah, you could quick game it, but other thing I think we were struggling. And you guys are kind of mentioning how guys said like they felt like they were going to be able to just go play more this year with the new defensive scheme. And sometimes that when you're blitzing guys and like they're just going out there and trying to win their one-on-one, like you're going to have guys get out of their blitz lanes. And so you're going to have, like you saw, like the whole side of the line would just like get picked up on a blitz, go to all to the right or all to the left, and you just have this huge lane right up the middle, because guys, like, we're playing with our hair on fire. Guys are trying to win, and if they're emphasizing speed, violence, aggression, sometimes that guys are gonna, you know, they might leave their lane a little bit or kind of just sell out. So now you have this overstacked line of scrimmage where the quarterback can just step up in the pocket. There's no one there. And the blitz essentially just negates itself and just opens up a huge hole for the quarterback. So that was one thing I noticed a lot when I went back and watched the game was not only were our blitzes getting negated by quick game, but I think our rushes were kind of getting out of their rush and blitz lanes so that scramble opportunity for Gabbert was just so easy. And just like he said, it was like, I could have been running. I could have ran and done all that shit, like just cakewalking. Like, and that's not that, it's not like a major MA on the defense, but that should be something that should be picked up on. That should be an adjustment. And if we don't want to, if we can't feel like we can slow the guys down, then yeah, we need to spy a guy more. But it happened like 5 times where Miami kind of bailed themselves out with just 15
on tough
to 20
like
yards
third
straight.
downs and
Yeah.
in certain fourth down. Yeah, it was
getting
tough.
out of bad field position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the whole offensive, schedule. You get a first set of down schedule. You create, a script. Script plays that you're going to run as an offense. And you kind of mentioned that and kind of, rep these throughout practice throughout the week so you can come out and look sound. Defensively, Ryan, my question to you is there a defensive script? Is there something that you kind of mentioned like, hey, let's keep an eye out on this, that, or the other in the first set of downs because they're going to probably look to go to this because that first play you mentioned, yes, if you take that first play away and say they 3 and out, Cincinnati could have easily outgained Miami and sure the whole game would be different then, but could have outgained Miami by like 250 plus yards. It's an insane stat to look at, but the first play did happen. It was 79-yard touchdown pass to the number 1 guy who was, highlighted, bold, everything. Granted, they shut him down after that, but what goes into that opening script defensively? And do you think that the blown assignment or the missed assignment, whatever, on the coverage, it just seemed like that simply can't be something that happens?
Yeah. So we have a call sheet that our defense gets schemed into like X amount of calls for X amount of position for X amount of scenarios and X amount of blitzes, different fronts. So we kind of condense the playbook down into this mini playbook that's based on the game plan for each offense, what we think what we're gonna like, and we have it for a first and second down package, and then we have that for third down and like fourth and short and anything you can think of. We have everything kind of game plan, just kind of like you don't have how an offense schemes up. We want these plays. Same thing with the defense. But I don't even think it was a blown coverage. I just think that, you got a step and ball goes in the right spot and Jay Harris just kind of got beat a little bit. I don't know. I couldn't tell because the defense is a little different. I can't really see and know exactly what the schemes are. I didn't notice that he might have thought he had
Taj
safety over the top. Yeah. It didn't look like that to me. I could be wrong, but it wasn't like terrible coverage, but I mean, he had a step on him and ball was right where it needed to be. But yeah, you literally, I mentioned this before, you take that play away, like we dominate the first half and we missed two touchdowns. We missed on deep balls. We had just the red zone, the whole thing. Yeah, it wasn't a major problem coming in, but it was obviously a major problem. It's the reason why we lost the game. If you want to pin it on one aspect of the game, that and maybe if you want to say the scrambling of the quarterback, I don't know, because there wasn't really anything else on defense. We didn't really have any bad penalties on D. We had 1 PI. It was a bad moment, but we weren't penalty ridden. I don't know. It hurt even more when I rewatched the game because I was like, damn, we should not have lost.
They dominated. They dominated. But Miami made the right, just was the perfect storm. And again, it's one of those it's happened like 3 times where Miami probably should have won the game over the last 16 years.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati, for whatever reason, just obviously the mind goes to Malik Clements in the 5 worst minutes of coaching in the history of football by Chuck Martin. But
who's still waiting for that check, probably, by the way.
what a fucking
He can go fuck off with that.
yeah.
Let him wait.
But who the hell let the big noon kickoff announcement out before the game? Fox, DH. They announced it at halftime of the noon game. Like what, huh? Fox did. The team, the company broadcasting it announces at halftime the week before where they're going for the next week. So Fox.
Another thing I forgot to
mention.
mention.
This is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to this first, Ryan.
Yeah.
On offense, stop the constant subbing, allowing the defense to slow their replacements and slowing down the offensive pace of play. This is something I noticed last year that the only I noticed Jawan Briggs and
yeah,
Dante,
for sure.
Yeah,
when they
Jawan
would
Dante.
get subbed out, they would light jog, essentially
Trot.
walking with their arms moving fast to slow things down.
Extra time
I think
out.
you have to look at going to 2, 3, 4 plays with the same personnel on the field. Because
like that.
the way it happens in college is the second that you sub, the other team is allowed to sub. And that is now, whatever that trend was that started last year has caught on big time this year, and people are milking it. They are subbing. Like Miami basically had a 1-for-1. One of their D linemen would sub for each other every time Cincinnati would sub.
It's a smart play.
Yeah,
It really is.
think about this. Think about how crazy this is. It happened on almost every play. Cincinnati still ran 91 plays. They ran 91 snaps in that game with Miami trying to slow them down. They might have had 750 yards of offense if they readjusted. That is one thing I'm going to ask Sat tomorrow. It is obvious this is something that is, because I've seen it in other games too, where this is happening, where teams are just purposely trying to bleed the clock down under 10 seconds as soon as you sub. Do you have to adjust? Do you have to look at it and say, we can't look at this is what we want to do on first down, and then we want to bring an extra tight end for this, and then we want to sub Aaron Turner for Braden Smith here because maybe we have a little bit of a gadget. I almost think you have to start calling play. If you want to avoid it, you have to start calling plays in bundles and saying we're going to run 2-3 plays with the same personnel and then sub, and then run 2-3 plays with the same personnel and then sub. Because if not, you're going to allow teams, and that's what inferior teams want to do, right? They want to slow you down. They want to make the game a slog because you're more talented than them. Yeah. If they have to continue with that defense defending your snaps, it's going to wear them down, and they're not going to be able to hold up.
Yeah, it's like the guys that used to fake injuries during Oregon, when Oregon was super fast, 10, 15 years ago. But
yeah,
Ryan, that had to be something that I know you weren't on the team last year, but something that Luke probably was like, listen.
Oh, no, they were doing that. Yeah, that started. They were, Mailbag would do it. We had all, I remember.
Yeah, but Mailbag was fast. So Mailbag's jog to the sideline was fast, right? Dante and Jawan could they just do the shuffle step and move their arms. And it's well, I'm trying, but I'm also 330 pounds, and it's going to take me a little while to get over there.
Yeah. No, it's smart. I'm just trying to think of what I feel like most of the time our packages don't change a ton in terms of full on personnel capabilities. So I think it's something that we can adjust to quite easily.
He clearly in the past 2 games has subbed on nearly every play. At least one sub
Say
on
again?
nearly every play. He pretty clearly because Pitt did it too. He clearly has subbed offensively on almost every snap.
Yeah.
Chad, I think I
I don't know
saw
why.
in the there was like one set of downs where it was when Emory had his rushing touchdown late, in the second half, where he had Evan out there and he used Evan in the Wildcat, and they kind of kept that same group out there, and I think that was able to speed up Miami, and that was able to have the opening for Emory to take it. So I agree with you. If you have like maybe set like a certain group of plays with each set of wide receivers and kind of just churn it out, and then if it does get stopped, or if you do get to a certain place that you're comfortable with, then you sub, because it does throw off the rhythm of the game. And when you're kind of rooting and rolling the way that they were at certain times, once you get into the red zone, you make that sub, it's like everyone just kind of resets and the momentum kind of stops. So I do agree.
Crypt Keeper, this is dumb. I'm sorry. This is dumb. I love you. You've been here forever. This is dumb. We have been lauding him as an offensive coach and play caller and designer of great like sets and plays for 2 weeks, and they almost get 600 yards against Miami, and now we're gonna like, does he have more than 10 plays? Come on, man. Like, let's not do this. Let's not fall into this trap.
Very true. I still can't believe that.
Here's what I want to say, Ryan. Let's not start worrying about things. Like, there are things to worry about. Let's not get lost in the weeds on like you heard a Louisville fan one time say that he only calls 10 plays. So now that becomes like a thing that we have to talk about. If you think he runs 10 plays, you haven't been watching the games. Like, they've run a ton of different stuff. 12 personnel, 11 personnel. They've spread things out. They've gone, the Eastern Kentucky game, they went deep regularly. The Pitt game, they knew that it had to be quick. They changed the entire game plan for that. I don't know. Like, I wonder, it's funny. Like, I wonder if they looked, like, if you looked at Miami's numbers coming into the game, they were terrible stopping the run and the pass. Like, out of 138 or whatever teams it is now, they were in the hundreds in almost every defensive metric. So I wonder if offensively they might have looked at this and just said, look, we're going to be able to like run our base, like our stuff, and be able to tear this defense apart.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like I was watching a lot. That's what I went. It just felt a little staler, just because I think it was like a mano-a-mano. We're better. We should kind of like, if we take care of business, we'll be able to run the ball down their throat. We'll be able to pass the ball to whoever, whenever we want. And it kind of felt like there was like bursts of that where it was like the offense churning down the field, like, and receivers just open. I just felt the run game was just a little bit behind, especially compared to last week, and especially if you compare
it was
Pitt's
with Kiner, but it wasn't with Ryan. Monty came in and was super effective.
Yeah, Monty did really, really well. I think it's great that you have like him, Kiner, and Miles. Like, that's just obviously like if something's not fitting right for Kiner, if he's not seeing it right away, that means shit. You have Ryan come in and just as dynamic. I really liked what he had. One thing I've been trying to get out though for a while, which I didn't really pay attention to too hard until when I rewatched. I absolutely hate why are we doing like Dante and Jawan down on the goal line? Like, you guys, you slow down like the linebacker and a D lineman both on that edge, just like unblocked, and stop us. It's like we shouldn't be like messing around like with shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's
just
not a game to get cute.
Yeah, put in Barrett Falk, put in McCalmont, put in your 4-package tight end.
Cute. Yeah.
And just, they know how to block. Listen, you're not going to be able to teach Dante and Juwan how to like block properly in like a day or two of practice. Like, which is probably what they did. So don't do that shit. Just put in the tight ends, and there's a good chance we have a touchdown there, not a 4th and 1 exit with no points.
There's a way to use a fat guy from defense on offense, and that's as a fullback.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
get them running
the
downhill
backfield.
to
Or
push
like
people out of the
Smashing
way.
into somebody.
or like put him like right behind the quarterback.
You don't want
And-
them
and-
going
and put the-
lateral, having to block down on
Well,
guys.
Ryan,
Run a zone scheme.
Ryan, how about
as-
this? You
I didn't
you
like that at all.
you put Jawan and Dante right behind Emery, and then you put Emery under center, and then you snap the ball, and then you all push Emery.
Yeah,
What about
would
that?
work.
A little
would
QB
work.
sneak. That's my question to you guys. They ran the QB sneak against EKU. Ran it again a couple 4th down situations the previous 2 weeks. They picked up a first down. They picked up the yardage needed every single time. Why on these 4th and 2? I mean, 4th and goal from the 1, and 1st and goal from the 2. Like, why not just try it? Like, I don't understand. Is there something against this the QB sneak? I don't know. I feel like if it worked before, unless they really didn't like the matchup right there at the point of attack, but still.
I'm curious if the college rules are a little different on that.
You think they're a little more?
I don't know that you
Strict.
can do what they're allowing in the NFL.
I
And
mean,
the NFL's even tried to like dial it back
Have
a little
Jerry
bit,
Jones
where you just
call up
line
and
up.
say, can't let these guys do that. But no, I've watched numerous games where they did do the QB sneak and they did do the push. And I don't know, it just seems like, especially on that play, they ran like a counter pretty much to him. And it's like it was a weird look. And somehow it was, I don't know, I'd go under center and just hog molly your way in with the QB sneak. You're muted.
You're
Chad.
muted.
You're muted.
Can't deny his play calling has a lot of question marks, though. They have moved the ball up and down the field all 3 games. Like, what? I don't like what. Yes, they were bad in the red zone on Saturday, but this notion that his play calling has been bad when everybody loved his play calling all the way up until the 4th quarter of Pittsburgh, and now the play calling worked for 580 yards, 70 yards, whatever it was. They struggled in the red zone, which, guess what? Some of that is also, as Ryan has talked about, that is for an offense, the defense has the advantage because it's a shorter field. Like Tony and I were talking in the end zone. One of the times they were at I think they were at the 4. And he's like, I'd throw a fade. And I'm like, yeah, but the angles on a fade from the 4-yard line, like the DBs only got it like maximum 14 yards. So like there's no element of surprise there. Like, yeah, I wouldn't have minded maybe throwing a fade. And I think they did throw one to Henderson later in the game. But they tried the quick slant on the inside to D. Wiggins. Like they tried a couple different things throwing the ball in those situations that also didn't work. Like it was a complete failure of all systems in the red zone. And guess what? If you're a coach, you should be able to call a halfback dive from the 2-yard line against Miami and get a fucking touchdown. That's not on the head coach calling the plays. That's on the interior of the line. We talked about this Saturday night. I felt great about the interior of this offensive line through 2 games. They did not play well against Miami. Miami had their way with the interior of this offensive line in that game.
Yep.
And
I
that
agree with
can't
you.
happen. That can't happen.
No.
So get on the play calling all you want. Sure. Guess what? Against Miami, with the ball at the 2-yard line 8 times, the play calling doesn't need to be exotic. Punch the ball in the fucking end zone.
Yeah.
Like that. It doesn't have to be, oh, let's get cute, let's get fancy. They got fancy on the last play.
Yeah.
Trying to run a dig route across the middle of the end zone, and the guy fell down.
Yep.
And the game
Well,
ended in an interception because
they got
feel
fans-
comfortable.
They got fancy with the Corleone and Juwan Briggs stuff too, where they tried to run a misdirection with
Sure.
whatever that was. But
But they did get creative, and it didn't work. They did get like they tried every. My point is, they tried to fade, they tried to slant, they tried to dig, they tried running at them. Like they had, God knows they had enough snaps, 17 snaps inside the 10. It wasn't like they ran 3 plays. They ran a bunch of different stuff. Miami stopped all of it. At some point in time, the guys on the field have to go win the damn matchups.
Yep. And I think one thing I would say could be an adjustment. It's sometimes it felt like on the goal line.
I'm sorry. I'm furious. Like nobody's defending anything. GMAC, we're talking about it. If we can't fucking talk about it, what's the point of having a show? I'm telling you, they weren't boring. They weren't predictable. They tried a bunch of different shit, and none of it worked.
I think we all agree it's on. We're also all in agreement, same team, that it is unacceptable. We all agree that.
It's unacceptable. It's unexcusable. It's incongruable.
To go 1 of 7. That's not anything that anybody wants to see.
You have to be better.
Correct.
You have to line up across from Miami.
That's the same thing. You can't say you have to be better and then say it's not unacceptable. Like no, it's the same thing. It's semantics. You just use different. You just use different words.
Yeah, because it's unacceptable. Okay, well then, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fire? It's unacceptable. So the coach.
My point is we're all in agreement. Me, you, and GMAC, we all agree that 1 of 7 is god awful, and you have to fix it. That's it.
Sometimes it feels like, especially with this short yardage, they feed the line and the way they like use their tight ends feels very like laterally.
Well, that's outside zone, right?
Yeah, but like even their alignment, like when you're looking at the line, it's like this long line. Then there's like the running back. Like I would like to get a tight end on the ball and then get an H-back tight end. Either stack them like they like to do with Falk, or get a motion in, and let's get more right at the guard tackle gap, and let's just go straight downhill and push and lead block.
See, this is the type of stuff that's worth talking about. Then like the random like throwing talking points in the air and see what sticks. It's outside zone. Like what they want to run is moving the line this way, moving the line that way. Like trying to confuse the defense. Well, in red zone, they just come up the field. Like it doesn't matter. Like if you go this way and fake back that way or this way, like they just come at you. And I do think there's like maybe a need for more like at the point of attack. Just go. Just blow the inferior opponent off the line and score your touchdown.
You know what they could do that would actually be a very good package? Corleone and Briggs with a stacked eye. One of them's the fucking fullback, the other one's right next to him, and you just run downhill, and you just let those fuckers just let them run and see how many they can get in the way of, and then say, Mr. Kiner, Mr. Montgomery, applies to both Montgomerys. You just follow the big fucks ahead of you, and you will get 1 yard to 4 yards every time.
Yeah,
that would be good.
I don't like them at left tackle and left like an extended tight end out.
No, those were two tight ends, damn near wide receivers on the far side. I mean that was just
I didn't love it.
That was getting like that was like an look who's out on the field, and you know who else said that?
Score the damn touchdown.
But you know who else said, look who's out on the field? Miami. And then they were like, all right, well, we know where this ball's going. Like,
yeah, but they countered. It went the opposite way, and they were still there.
It went that way. It went left. But no, like the line went right, and then it went left.
Basically like they wanted to. It looked like they wanted to just have Dante and fucking Jawan just like push everything down and then run the running back off their ass. But like they just pushed down and like 2 guys were unaccounted
defense
for. And they were
filled.
just immediately in the
I mean,
in
what
the
are
backfield.
what are defensive lines supposed to do with pulling
they
guard?
don't
You
know.
follow them, you know.
Yeah, those guys
It was
won't know. It's not their fault.
no.
But I think the triple option, though, I think that's something they should really think about in that red zone if they're still having trouble. Because, I said this before, space is gone, so you have to win your numbers. And if you get fucking our gadget guy, just quick motion
Turner
and either run the triple same side or run it opposite, the running back go opposite, then Emery can read to go with his motion guy into a double option. Like that would be like, because then Emery can, like how he tried to do, he can just, that guy's on an island. I'm going to stick my foot in the ground. All I need is 1 or 2 yards, or I can just pitch it out and let him run to the pylon. I think that would be a great adjustment for their red zone shit.
Well, the other thing I would say, like, hey, guess what? That Shaman 2-point play worked to perfection. How about we try that? We try that on 2nd and goal from the 2. Like if it's your 2-point play, at some point in time you have to say, let's run the 2-point play. We're at the 2-point marker. Let's run the 2-point play. Yeah. Like let's get him just standing open in the back of the end zone to catch a touchdown pass.
Yep.
Then you don't need the 2. You don't need the 2 if you run more Shaman.
Maybe a throwback. Hey, speaking of that throwback, we should have picked that off, man. Oh, Todd should have picked that off.
Yeah. I mean, we should have done a lot of damn things. Let's be honest. But we are going to give some roses. Another really good game for Xavier Henderson. Aaron is looking better and better by the game.
Try him in the red zone a little bit more.
Right. Aaron's looking better and better every game with his prediction of Xavier leading the team in catches. So shouts to Aaron.
At this
but
rate,
still,
it's not going to be close.
Yeah, like it's kind of blowing up. But still, it seemed like, do you think Miami did a good job scheming to keep Braden Smith at bay? Or was this kind of just a situation where Emery saw an opportunity to really hammer in? Because I think Xavier he only had like 13 targets and caught 12 of them. So
a lot of it was, Brent. It was a lot just dig routes. They were playing so far off of him because they didn't want him to go over top that I think him and Emery were just like, look, if they're going to give me 8 every time, I'm just going to take the 8. Like I'm just going to, go, stop, turn around, catch it. Here's 9 yards. If I make the guy miss, I'll get, what he had 22 on the one, 20 around there, whatever on the one that he broke free.
Deep was 22,
yeah. So that was a dig route. Like, so I think that was just Miami was playing off, and the 2 of them just said, okay, well then we will punish them, down the field as much as they will let us, because if you're just going to let them stop and catch 8-yard passes every time, then I'm going to throw them an 8-yard pass every time.
Right. I think one thing we didn't see that Royer was kind of touching on a little bit was like that sexy motion and then snapping it while Braden's still going in motion and finding him with a quick out or some sort of a semi gadget play to just get the ball in his hands and get him rolling. Same with Turner as well. They tried to do the reverse, I guess. I don't know if you would call it a double reverse, but the pitch back to Turner, that was a rough pitch. But I don't know. It seemed like Miami was kind of selling out a lot on defense, where it was kind of just like get upfield and just cause havoc. And I feel like it might have just flustered Emery at times when he was rolling out and had him, instead of pausing and trying to find someone open, he instead, was throwing it away or, throwing it kind of at the ground or just, I don't know. It seemed like they did a good job of just saying, let's just attack. And, I think I mentioned that to Aaron a couple times who, it was like, gosh, when, either find someone open or cut it up or something like that. But I think they did a good job getting upfield defensively. The second that they saw Emery rolling out, they're like, attack him. So I don't know. A lot of adjustments need to be made, but we do need to touch on the field goal. And now the growing talk on the board of course, is we saw the whole new rule change where the clock still rolls after a first down up until the final 2 minutes. Well, the other rule is one that isn't really talked about as much, and that's under the final 2 minutes, or it might be the full game, but I know for a fact under the final 2 minutes you can't call consecutive timeouts. And the Cincinnati called a timeout, set up the field goal, this, that, and the other. Then Miami came out with 7 players on the right side of Cincinnati's field goal line. And when you're trying to use what is it, 3 guys to block 7 or 4 guys to block 7, one or at least 2 people is going to be screaming off that edge untouched. I don't know if it's game planned enough up to this point to take. People are mentioning take a delay of game, take a false start, so you can kind of discuss and adjust. But Ryan, you were heavily involved in special teams. When you see that unbalanced side of a line, are you not worried about it because it's kind of a 35-yard chip shot where you kind of hope to get it snapped and up fast enough where the block isn't even there, or is that as unbalanced of a kick block line where you do need to suddenly make a quick change?
Well, it's kind of where you have the off guy. That's kind of game plan where guys shouldn't be able to run from that edge and get there and block it within the certain operation time. But Burton said their op was on time. There's no snap, hold, kick. It was all within their operation time needed to get it off. But I don't know. Like normally maybe we didn't line up properly. Maybe everything was a little shrunken down. I'm not sure, because normally where that guy's at, it's supposed to be that it's very, very hard for anyone outside of him to get there in time. So maybe it was just the combination of the line shifted down a little bit more than normal, or Peyton was just a little bit inside than what he should have been, or a little bit shallow instead of deep, so that the guy
had to go around.
It made a better angle for him. But that's about all I know about that stuff. I mean, it did come off the edge, so no one is technically supposed to have a hand on him. But it's I don't know. I don't know their their field goal scheme, and so I wouldn't be able to get into details. I don't really know, but just unfortunate.
I don't know how you signal that.
Right. Signal
like
what?
Take a delay a game, like in the heat of the moment. Like, okay, like you're trying to see it from the field.
Fire. I don't know. It's because
but you're in Nippert Stadium, it's a little loud. Nip at night, 19 seconds left in the game.
If you watch the replay, he like you said, Ryan, Peyton went down, and I'm sure that's what you're supposed to do is block down. But that guy came screaming off the edge, completely untouched, and didn't even look unbothered. It didn't seem like it was part of the snap, hold, or kick. It just did seem like, well, first off, the guy made a great play. Second off, it just was completely untouched. So I don't know. I didn't know
if you get one hand on him, you do enough to kick him out where he doesn't get a free run. Like even if you just shove him, maybe.
Right.
I don't know
because it was unfortunate because Carter Brown had a great game up to that point. I mean, Chad, I was constantly thinking that you're probably going to be giving him the player of the game as if he would have came out of it.
He was about to be.
Right.
He was about to be.
Would have had to be.
I didn't scare off Crypt Keeper. He's fine. He knows I love him. He's been here forever. This is for Ryan, I guess. You would know better than any of us. He doesn't want to assume anything, but do you think the guys were kind of overlooking this game, especially with a lot of talk of ending this rivalry because we've dominated it for so long? I don't think guys worry about that personally. Like that's just fan talk that, I don't think gets to the players. But you're coming off the Pitt win. You've got Oklahoma looming national TV next week. Like, Do you think it's a
I don't-
possibility? I would say that I like you don't move the ball straight up and down the field the way they did. I think if you're overlooking, like I don't think they played bad outside of one area. What are your thoughts?
Thanks for the donation, though, Connor.
Yes.
I agree, Chad. And when you tell me like they almost had 600 yards, like how do you have 28 points, 600 yards, and lose
Right.
all together?
8 trips to the red zone. 8.
30
Yeah.
He
first
got
downs.
24 points, 30 first
30
downs,
first
30,
downs. To Miami
33 or
16.
30, almost 34 minutes time of possession.
To Miami 16.
Right.
Yeah, it's just one of those fluky ass, like it's just nothing makes sense about it.
It was as fluky as that 14-point spread.
So I think the guys are ready to play. I think just a lot of things didn't go our way. A lot of things went their way. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to convey the seriousness of a rivalry to a staff that has virtually no idea about it. I never didn't hear from any of the guys. They felt like the coaches didn't take it seriously or anything. I mean, they seemed ready to go. I mean, if you go down and write down everything that happened, like everything that like we messed up or we didn't make happen, and then everything that kind of just happened for that first play touchdown, just the Red Sea departing on a lot of big third downs, a lot of big opening plays for them. Just for the
Overthrowing the
quarterback to run
touchdown
through.
pass at the end of the first half, and then a pick the very next play.
I did want to talk to Royer about that. The missed deep shot to Wiggins.
Yeah, we were humming there. That was like
so I was standing pretty close to it, like as it was.
Double patted it.
Well, here's what I think. Tell
He
me what you
rifled
think.
it instead of airing it out.
No, here's what I think there's a reason he did that. Because I think when he let go of the ball, Wiggins was running a fly just straight down the sideline, and that's where Emery threw the ball. But as Emery was letting the ball go, what are receivers taught to do in those situations where it takes a little bit longer? Like you drift towards the middle, right? Like you're giving him more area towards the middle of the field. So you can see Wiggins just kind of start to drift a little towards the middle. And when you watch where the ball landed, I think Emery threw the fly. Like, I think he just saw him streaking down the sidelines and said, okay, this is my spot. If Wiggins continues straight down the sideline, that's an easy catch. Like, if you look where the ball landed, that's an easy catch because it was thrown to the sideline and not thrown. If Emery waits one more beat and he sees Wiggins kind of drifting, he knows throw that thing more towards the middle and give him, because he had beaten the DB badly, give him the space to run under it. And I think instead he double pumped looking at the fly and saying, okay, he's going to stay on the sideline. Let's throw it down the sideline. And if you look, the ball lands here and Wiggins is like here. That was just like, I was standing on that sideline, maybe 5 yards from where the ball landed. And that's what it looked like to me. Like, is that plausible to you that is what wide receivers are kind of taught to do?
I don't know, though. I don't know that. I've never heard that before, but that makes sense what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he broke to the post. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he kind of just gave him a little bit more room, a little bit more airspace, and Emery had already let the ball go to where he would have been. You know, it wasn't drastic. Like, he didn't like cut like this. He just kind of like drifted a little bit more towards the middle, where the first 30 yards of that route were straight down the sideline. That's what I saw from standing there, because he beat the brakes off the DB.
Yeah,
gotta put air under that though. It did seem a little bit more on the line.
Well, yeah, but you don't if you see him running wide open down the sideline, is what I'm saying, Brent.
Yeah,
like when Emery let go of the ball, you're throwing it directly to him.
Right.
You're not thinking like what you're getting at exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he sees him start to drift a little, he knows, okay, I can just fly this thing up there and let him adjust.
Yeah.
Instead, he saw him running wide open down the sideline and put a little less air on it because he thought he was going to continue that path,
right,
and make an easy catch.
But
it's just an unfortunate game of inches kind of
it sucked.
Miscommunication between a wide receiver and a quarterback that happens.
Yeah. Well, and to Ryan's point, it's just fluky shit. And I mean, like, and I hate to keep bringing it up because I've said it like 5 times, but we kept on mentioning, like, why is this line 14? Like, why is this 14? And then fluky shit happened, and you saw why it was. It's like it aids to the unpredictability of college football as a whole. You look all over the country.
It upsets
having that was. It was weird. It was super weird. I want to talk about just 2 last things, and we'll wrap this up. One last thing is the final play call, 4th and 2. You're calling that that rub route, where you pretty much are essentially setting up a pick in the end zone. D. Wiggins trips and falls on the play and ends up in an interception. If we talk about Emory having, Keegan kept mentioning the happy feet that Emory had. If you watch the replay on that, Emory could have walked into the end zone if he looked right and just saw how wide open it was. There was no one there within at least 7 yards
for the route.
Yeah, he's looking left for the route. I don't like that. Like, I understand it's a call that's happened. It's a pretty famous call. I mean, Clemson won a national championship running that same play. Granted, they went to the flats instead of finding the guy slanting on the cut, but I don't know. It's probably a play they've rehearsed a bunch, but
it was
that's a lot of traffic over there.
At least one of them.
A lot of traffic over there, and that's the play to decide the game pretty much. Anything on the last play? I mean, it just.
I would have liked if they just kind of like QB powered it.
Yeah.
And just ran it right at them. Numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Say fuck you guys. That's what I would have liked, but I don't know. That's kind of my. You'll hear me just keep saying just run the ball and those kind of short yardage kind of what should we do here? Like that's kind of my how I see the game. But if you guys might have other opinions, but I'd like to hear. I don't know what do you do there? It's kind of like gray area. It's like it seems like it's like a little bit longer than you're liking, but like.
Right, I think they
had 10 plays there.
I think they were trying everything in the cauldron. Like they were trying every possible thing they could think of to cook up a score from point blank, and nothing had worked all night. So well then let's try getting D. Wiggins open across the middle, the middle to back of the end zone. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I would guess after 17 snaps inside the 10 with 1 touchdown, you get in your head a little bit, don't you?
Yeah.
As a play caller, as a player, as a quarterback,
that's just a very, very crowded pass. You got trips over on that side. You're hoping that a pick works out, and you're thrown to a spot where you hope that D. Wiggins is at. And Emory wanted pass interference on the play, and D did fall down. I don't know if it was.
But that's the problem with running a pick right there.
Right, exactly.
There's just there's set bodies in that spot.
Yeah. I mean, it just adds into the amount of different things that Royer was mentioning, where it's just a series of unfortunate events. Is that book series that all these people?
Series of unfortunate events.
Lemony Snicket. How about that name? Great name.
Series of unfortunate events.
Exactly. Quick trivia time. Last time the Bearcats had 500 plus yards and lost.
Memphis.
Nope. Got to go further back than that. Royer, Aaron.
Didn't they lose the Hayden Moore game?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about it was after that.
Okay.
What did you ask? I didn't hear you.
Last time Cincinnati gained 500 or more yards of total offense and lost.
It has to be a gunner. Was it a gunner game?
Post gunner era.
Oh.
It was the end of a certain
fucking
tenure.
Answer the question.
It was the end of a certain tenure. 2016 at Tulsa. the final game of someone's
Tuberville. Yeah.
less than illustrious career. And the fun fact is, Chad, you mentioned it. Tuberville had 3 other games the year before where they had more than 500 yards, and they lost all 3. But I mean, they had more. They had more games than that, but they lost 3 other games with 500
Yeah.
more yards. And so, that's just another Lemony Snicket unfortunate event. But I guess, Chad, you guys will probably cover Oklahoma a bunch. Let's timestamp this. And
I'm worried about. Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about one thing.
Yeah,
you're on the verge of a 3-game losing streak. You're
got
on the
some
cusp.
toughies.
Like
Got some toughies.
You've got 2 that you gotta figure out how to get one.
Especially BYU
Like,
figuring things out. Yeah.
Yeah, BYU beating Arkansas at Arkansas. Like,
Right.
You have got to figure out, because as we talked about, you're getting Oklahoma, they've gone hot, cold, hot. Maybe they'll be cold again because they can't run the ball.
They're deep.
And I'm sure Dave and I want to deep dive with Dave on Wednesday about this whole notion that the pass defense is awful, coming off of a 2-week stretch where they allowed 22 completions total.
And pass interference is the main bugaboo.
And yeah, and I think some of it's bogus, but I do think there's, hey, will you 2 knock it off? I'm trying to do a podcast here. Jesus. I think some of it's valid. Teams are doing that because they know it's 50-50. Like, there's a good chance that the refs are going to call the PI. So even the Jordan Young one, that was defended perfectly. Yeah. He got his head around. He made a play on the ball. He did not he was not grabbing and tugging and that was exactly how you're supposed to play one-on-one man coverage down the sideline. But hopefully they can get Sammy back at some point in time and see if that changes the way things are going. But I push back a little bit on this. The pass defense is absolute dog shit because the numbers don't say that.
It seemed like it might have been a Miami staff talking to the refs a lot, saying, "Hey, watch out for these things," and then the refs are right there. But real quick though, yes. So we mentioned BYU. Cincinnati, based off of net success rate or net win rate, if you look at the Cincinnati Miami game, was the very last team. The very last game where they should have won based off of
it's the biggest outlier in the country.
Second biggest was BYU's win on the road at Arkansas. So shit happens, and now they're 2-1. If you would have said 2-1 heading into the Oklahoma game, you probably been like, oh, cool. But just don't tell them that the one game was the first loss in 18 years
instead of
16 straight. Yeah.
All right. That's the timestamp brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcat for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom. Before we open up the mailbag, this is where we normally talk quickly about recruiting. I think just mainly that football recruiting. Seemed like a lot of people made it onto campus for this past game. Oklahoma was going to be the crazy game, especially for basketball recruiting.
It's going to be maybe the biggest recruiting day and one of the biggest recruiting days in program history. And Crypt Keeper, don't worry about it, bro. We're just this is I don't take these arguments seriously. It's content. We're having fun. It's all good.
Malachi Moreno on campus for his official.
Unofficial.
Yeah. Sorry. He is a big dude. There's no doubt.
He's grown since the last time I saw Malachi.
He's a tall dude.
He's a tall dude. And then the names obviously are the same names that we've mentioned for a while that'll be on campus this upcoming weekend. Basketball, and those are all the official visits, right?
Jace and Tyler Betsy are official visits.
Okay. And is Sadiq White, is that still happening or?
Potentially, but that's an unofficial, I believe. That's not
Okay.
official.
Okay. All right. So
And we'll see. I'm not going to say anything. We'll see how the week goes.
Okay.
I might have something by Friday, but we'll see how the week goes.
I like the tease. I like the tease. But yeah, obviously keep locked in. It's gonna be a wild recruiting weekend for football and basketball. They are rocking and rolling still, and the atmosphere is gonna be wild. Big 12 will be on scene, so and
yeah, it's gonna be an
well.
awesome Saturday.
Yeah,
awesome Saturday. Would it have been a little bit more?
Could have been awesomer.
Yeah, it could have been awesomer. But it's still gonna be like you don't get this opportunity all the time.
Gronk's
So,
still gonna be spiking footballs and shit. So
when do you think we got to get down there? Like 7?
7, 8 at the latest. Yeah.
Might as well.
Boy, Dane is gonna be ripping what's the one place you guys go to up there? The grid.
What on the
Chad.
grid?
Chad, you guys, what's
Republic
that tailgate?
Cincinnati?
Republic
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
Isn't there another one you guys?
Dave
told me about
Simone's
before?
tailgate up on the top of
Well,
the
we go to Dave's
rooftop.
Yeah. But that's that's like a small family, like 20, 30 people. That's not like a massive. Like,
I need to run into Royer again. That got my juices flowing on Saturday.
Dude, I was just like, I just keep laughing, Brent. Just you and me, just like hugging each other. We're gonna be rich. Just completely jinxed us so hard.
Yeah, I got a nice little text at about 10 a.m. this morning. Hey man, rough weekend. I was like, yeah. Just tell me
great. Not great, Bob.
Tell me how much.
Not great, Bob.
But yeah, let's go and roll into that the mailbag. Aaron, if you are ready.
Well, first, I believe the mailbag currently is brought to you by Home Field.
It is brought to you by Home Field Apparel.
Home Field is offering 15% off when you enter promo code BCJ23. Home Field has the best vintage apparel for your University of Cincinnati needs or any other college for that matter. So if you're looking for that early Christmas gift for your friends and family,
Christmas, I love it.
15% off. Entering code BCJ23. Support the people who support us. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Get your UC gear for this season, Christmas season, whatever season it is that you're looking for.
It's their can't miss kickoff campaign. Make sure.
Aaron, that was a sexy read, by the way.
You're welcome.
Sexy read.
Fully geared up for the 2023 season in style. Hoodies, quarter zips, joggers, t-shirts, tank tops, you name it. Home Field's got it.
All right. That said, this should be a fun mailbag. Setting the tone off right. Is it safe to come back to the football board yet?
Yeah, I think for the most part, the sanity has people got mad at the Bengals on Sunday. That helped.
Aaron will have a full breakdown of that tomorrow night on.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
George in the
oh God, what an awful show that's going to be tomorrow.
I mean, George and I are just going to be in depression mode.
Right. Yeah, it's complete therapy Tuesday. Yeah. It's safe. You're all right.
I think as long as you avoid the Mel Tucker thread and the Fire Satterfield thread, you'd be all right.
People are so crazy. I saw some people say, "I want Satterfield gone already." It's like, just relax.
I mean, they were saying the same thing when Luke and Free lost to Navy by like 70. So
yeah, when Navy put up 600 yards rushing.
Yeah,
Marcus Freeman will never forget that.
Ever in his entire life, it'll stick with him forever and ever and ever.
All right. Now that the preseason is over, how are we feeling with an over/under of 4.5 conference wins? If this isn't a fair number, please adjust accordingly.
I don't know how I feel right now.
I know.
I think I
Look,
need to see.
I drank the Kool-Aid I normally don't drink the Kool-Aid hard on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went full Kool-Aid
Oh,
last
it
week.
was tasting unreal last week.
Oh my God. And I combined that with the bet where I hammered it live on the show. I just I don't know if I want to make any more predictions. I think I'm
Just give me 4. Give me 4.
I still think the Big 12 is bad. Like as a whole, it's not.
And the schedule is still in the Bearcats'
Guess
favor.
what though? UC is just as average. I think the Big 12
Right.
is average, and
No,
I
I
think
agree.
UC is just as. I think it comes down to the same thing we talked about since June. How many
Right.
coin flips can this team win?
Yeah.
I don't know if I at this point I don't know if Baylor or Iowa State are average. I think they're below average. But
Okay, so there's 2. There's a 14 league team.
I'm gonna
There's
go
2
with 5.
that are below
I'm gonna
average.
go 5 and 4. 5 and 4 in the conference. I think we
Right.
can do it.
Yeah, I just think like as
I'm
we
sticking with
adjust
7. I predicted 7. I'm going to stay with 7.
with the
7 conference wins?
no,
No,
7
7
total
wins.
wins.
7 overall. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Why
as
don't you
So
say
5 in conference.
as we
God.
adjust like after the Miami game, you just got to adjust with the Big 12 as a whole. Like there were some bad games recently. in the
Agreed.
Big 12. So it's like, I think you still just keep your same thought no matter what. And I'm going over 4.5 is what I'm
You're
pretty much saying.
God, I need to find the prescription rose colored lenses that you have, sir.
Baby, it's just Kool-Aid, man. It's right here.
My
It's that wine
goodness.
flavored Kool-Aid, baby.
What would have to improve other than red zone offense to feel like we could contend to make the conference championship game?
Oh, geez.
Wow. Embry is gonna have to play like he played versus EKU
Every game.
and the offensive line is gonna have to play like they played against Pitt every week.
Yeah.
And
You have to avoid
very lucky.
You have to avoid dumb penalties. 10 penalties for 78 yards wasn't great. Regardless of how they're calling PI, you have to adjust to make sure that they can't call PI on you.
Can we talk about illegal man downfield from the 2-yard line?
Or my favorite call, holding on a fair catch. What a dumb penalty that is, just in general.
Dude, Chad, you remember the other illegal man downfield in a big Cincinnati game? Royer was on the team.
He was.
At Notre Dame. Beautiful set play. Thrown forward, touchdown. Called back because eligible man downfield on
because there was a guy half a yard down, like downfield on the backside of the play that had just kind of like drifted a half a yard too far.
Does it like, do they consider the goal line the stop, or is it like, oh, you pushed him through 5 yards into the end zone?
I guess it's 5 yards. Like, I guess as soon as you pass 5 yards, which seems pretty arbitrary because guess what? There aren't yard markers in the fucking end zone.
Right, exactly.
Right, exactly. So a lot would have to be done to make this a conference championship team. How does it feel that we have at least 3 coaches that seats could be gone if they don't improve? Houston, Baylor, Iowa State. These are the other schools that I think could have a new coach. Oklahoma State and West Virginia.
I don't care.
What is it talking about? Like a lot of new coaches?
Teams in the conference that could lose their coaches. I don't care.
Oh. Yeah, I mean.
That's
the good news is we play all of them.
Yeah, I don't care. That's their problem. We'll deal with it when we get there. In the off season, when we're talking about the new hires, we haven't even started conference play yet.
Literally all of them, including the 2 outside looking in teams, Oklahoma State and West Virginia, mentioned in this question.
They're on the schedule. Right.
They're all on the schedule.
I'm on to Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're on to Oklahoma.
Where does running 17 plays inside the opponent's 10-yard line, scoring only 1 touchdown, ranking your personal Ripley's Believe It or Not football catalog? Have you ever seen anything comparable? P.S. Tulsa ran 8 plays inside our 10, but that is less than half of 17.
Well, we would have to go back and look at that Tulsa game. Did they run any other? That was all on. That was one
drive.
series, one drive. They ran 8 plays from the one or whatever it was. Like, so that is definitely comparable. We would have to look at the rest of that game and see if Ryan, were they down there in the red zone much that game?
I think we had a fumble to get him there
earlier in the game.
Didn't Dez fumble it?
Yeah, it was.
No, we're talking about like what? How many times did Tulsa have the ball at the goal line that game and didn't score? Because we know they had 8 snaps at the end.
Yeah, but that was. You're right, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, it was 4 plays, then Dez fumbled, and they got it back.
Yeah,
and had 4 more plays, and they couldn't score.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's what it was. I don't know. That was a crazy sequence, though. I would have. That might have been worse for Tulsa fans than we had at this one.
Oh God,
we should have lost that game. Bye.
I mean, they would have spoiled everything. Like they would have ruined everything.
And that was damn college game day.
Yeah. You guys just had a flair for the dramatic. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, that's the thing. You guys played in over the past 5 years 10, 12 games exactly like this, where the other team did everything they could to like limit the opportunity for you guys to pull away, like drain the clock, make some stops in the red zone. And put you guys in a position where you were vulnerable at the end, and you found a way to win them all, except Georgia.
Except for UCF.
And UCF. Well, yeah. But that UCF game wasn't really all that close. The one in the bounce house for game day?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
The one last year where we blew it. We went down, scored, and then
let them go down. Yeah. But ultimately, like you guys, while you were there, you guys played a bunch of these type of games.
Yes.
And you won them all. Almost.
Yes.
Like almost exclusively, you won them all. You're not gonna have 100%.
The Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis Conference Championship. Yeah.
Well, on the week before too, you guys had a chance to win that and didn't.
Yeah.
That was really the only 2 games I remember under Fick where you guys like didn't find a miraculous way to pull it out. Like that's the one thing about the Fick era and the Dez era, maybe more importantly, as some would like to call it. Like you guys just had a knack. Like Dez had a knack for finding a way to get it across the finish line.
Hey,
yeah,
man.
he did.
You saw that on Sunday.
He did it again. Like he keeps doing it in the NFL.
He's a winner.
Falcons fans be damned.
Yeah, they hate him.
All right, which unit gives you the?
Yeah, he didn't throw for enough yardage. You see that interception first quarter?
They're getting very Andy Dalton-ish on Dez already. Like we think we can do enough. He can do enough to win us a bunch of games, but like, is he like he's not Pat Mahomes or Joe Burrow or.
I saw one guy saying, "Man, if we had Sam Howell, we'd be the favorites for the Super Bowl."
Sam Howell's going to be nice this year.
Yes.
All right, back to the Bearcat bounce mailbag. Which unit gives you the most concern? Offensive line, defensive backfield, special teams unit, or all of the above? How's Royer feeling about the team at this point? I think we got a pretty good feel for how Royer's feeling about the team at this point.
I think we just like the one we don't know the most about is the defensive backfield because Pitt didn't throw the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That exacerbated like the issues that when they did throw the ball, there were problems with the pass interferences more than anything. And then you saw it creep back up in the Miami game a little bit. So I think it's an unknown because, like I said, like they're holding teams under 50% passing. Like, and they played a really good quarterback in week 1, probably the best quarterback they played. And then, like, it's not like the numbers, like the completion numbers and a little some of that stuff that Paul was pointing out earlier, which I give credence to, but they're not. Teams aren't throwing the ball a lot. So like when they're hitting on like their 10 completions, they're hitting pretty big, and that gives you a reason for concern, which we're going to find out about this week because Oklahoma's going to throw the ball 50 times, right? Like they're going to throw the ball a lot. They do not run it. That is not what this offense at Oklahoma is designed to do. They do not run it well when they do run it. They are going to throw the ball. So we're going to find out. I'm going to kill these dogs.
All right.
I'd say. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Let everybody
if you
else
got more.
answer, Aaron.
I just don't feel kind of like the dynamic explosiveness from the special teams kind of that Mason used to have, where like we were like trying to block punts or big returns. We wanted to return the ball out of the end zone, and our punting unit's pretty good. Our kickoff's been solid. I would like to see more kind of like, let's sell some stuff out here on kickoff return and pump block, but that's hard between O-line and defensive backfield. I think when Sammy Anderson comes back, that'll add another layer too, because I think it's good that Justin Harris has been getting some good experience right now. So he could be so whoever maintains a spot is going to have a lot of good experience, but I think O-line's still biggest concern for me, kind of just seeing how they kind of just fell back to their old ways of just under expectations play against Miami.
That Matt makes a great point that we didn't talk about. The fake punt was phenomenal. Great read that they were overloading to Mason's strong side and just kind of picked it off and went left and found a bunch of grass for Shaman there. Ryan, I know Braden Smith is electric. I, for one, and I've argued with this about a couple people inside the program who were like questioning Ryan Montgomery as a punt returner. And I'm like, I don't know how but he just figures a way to get you an extra first down on punts. Like he just has whatever that is that punt returners have, that short area, make the first guy miss and get 10, 12 yards. Such a natural punt returner. I know you're trying to hit the home run with Braden Smith, and maybe that's something that you look at where like if we need a home run, we have Braden back there. But if it's a standard punt in the middle of the second quarter where we're fighting field position, I might look to put Monty back there because he just has that natural feel as a punt returner to find a way to get upfield and get you an extra first down. Like take you from the 25 to the 38. And look, man, when you're starting at the 38 and you've got a good field goal kicker, like it increases your chance of putting points on the board. Like I would look at maybe using those guys in tandem to give Monty a chance to kind of get you those extra first downs there.
Yeah, Monty was just like you said, like he never was like breaking any like big ass touchdowns, but he just always found a way to just make a guy miss. And you can kind of see that how he's just really good with like tight cuts when he's running the ball. I like that idea, Chad.
He's not when you look at him, he's not a prototypical like this guy is a star. He doesn't have the measurables. He doesn't have the elite breakaway speed. But sometimes guys are just like they have that thing with their feet where they can just like they have that sudden quickness to make one guy miss and get straight up field. Or like and we saw it with him running the ball in the Miami game. Like make the one guy miss and all of a sudden it's 7, 8, 9 yards, 10 yards. Like I don't know. I would explore that because I know he doesn't fit like the dynamic, explosive, like break you a long touchdown punt return. But I do think, man, there is some value in getting that extra first down on punts.
You know, in Chad, as well, what about maybe using Braden then on kickoff? And because I love it, Xavier Henderson, what he brings on the offense. It just I haven't seen much
Maybe.
on the kickoff return.
Maybe.
But I
don't
agree with
hate the
Ryan.
idea.
Ryan's one of the highest rated punt returners in the entire country the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
and you see he was
And
returning
there's
punts.
no explanation for it. Like there's
Right.
there's nothing you look at and say this guy's going to have big numbers
Right.
because he's going to break a bunch of long returns. No, he's just a guy that knows how to get you 13 yards on a punt return.
And Brian Mason picked him to return punts over Tyler Scott, over Trey Tucker,
right.
over Alec Pierce. This is
And
I don't know. Drum forward.
Maybe I'm crazy, but that Brian Mason guy has done pretty good as a special teams coordinator.
Not a bad coach. Not a bad coach.
I'm just saying.
All right, I've brought this up a few times in different threads, but I really want to know how, if at all, can you signal your team to take a delay of game call after timeout when you need another timeout? This is in regard to the blocked field goal. It's hard to yell at the center in the middle of the field unless you tell the fans no cheering after a timeout. You don't have a receiver close by to tell to jump off sides. It's also entirely possible they did not see any issue prior to the snap, but either way, it doesn't seem a team would have a plan for this situation. I'm also sure Coach Scott Satterfield will have one going forward. I also noticed at one point during a punt, they only had 10 men on the field. For whatever that's worth. They had one gunner. I think that was in the third quarter, but I don't know. Special teams has to clean some stuff up there.
Yeah, we touched on this.
Yeah.
Next question.
Really hesitated to post this because I believe in free speech, and Chad has seen no issue with these threads. Plus, we all view news and entertainment differently. That's stated at 3:00 Central Time. These were the top two most commented upon subjects on the board. Call me crazy, but somehow they both just seem just a bit outside the line. Spirit of the site. Would love to hear your opinion and professional approach to content of this nature as opposed to spirited, positive, or negative dialogue about the team, the players, the opponents, and the program. I always come back for more, but interested in your thoughts. I realize this is a fine line, especially considering the plentiful clicks. Those two threads being the Fire Satterfield and the Mel Tucker threads.
One of the things that we have cultivated on Bearcat Journal is the ability to have a pretty civil discord. And unless it's egregious and there's personal attacks or you're bringing in politics and religion and stuff that is outside of what we allow, I let people have their free speech, their ability to communicate and talk about things on the website. One thing I hate deleting threads, because I think even if you go back and read the Fire Satterfield thread, which is stupid, it's an ignorant notion to entertain at this point. There's a lot of good back and forth in that thread, because I think we have developed a community that has some respect as grown-ups in their ability to have conversation.
Couth.
Right. Like, if this was Michigan State, where their message board is a shit show, it's a disaster, I wouldn't allow some of the stuff that happens there to happen on Bearcat Journal. But I monitor all of that stuff. When people are getting out of line, I tell them to chill out and knock it off. But ultimately, we have created a community that is capable of having discussion on pretty much anything and not taking it to the extreme like you see in a lot of places. So I like, this always cracks me up when we get to Chad bans everybody and Chad kicks everybody off the site and Chad censors everything. I do very little of that, because we have such a great community that does such a great job of policing itself that it's not necessary. If somebody's getting out of pocket and being a clown, the members of the community tell that person, shut up, you're being a clown. And I take a lot of pride in that, because that means that it's a healthy community and that I don't have to step in and slap everybody's hands. I was part of a community that a while back, like I think I actually started there before any of the UC stuff came along, and this was like a Kentucky high school football, like Kentucky thing, and the moderation of that site got to the point that it ran everybody off. And now, if you go back and look at that community, it is nothing like what it used to be, because the moderation got ridiculous, the guidelines got ridiculous, the rules got ridiculous, and it ran off what had made that community a great community. I still have friends, like very close, longtime friends to this day from that community in the early 2000s. But now it's not what it used to be, because they went over the top and didn't treat the people that were there like adults. And I firmly believe in treating you guys like adults. If you screw around and act like assholes and I have to close shit, I will. But I don't want to do that. Like, I don't think that's the community that we've built and developed. So maybe you don't agree with it. Maybe you would like to see it not on the board. My suggestion would be, don't click on it. You don't have to read it. But know that we're keeping an eye on it. If something is out of pocket or it needs to be taken care of or handled, we'll make sure that that happens. But I think it's important. How can we not have a thread about what's happening at Michigan State? Like, that's a major deal in the college sports world. People are upset Saturday night. I think it's important to let them vent. Because if not, like, we lose that entire. There are also UC communities that have died over the past 10 years because of over moderation and going too far this way. Like, do I think the fire Scott Satterfield thing is fucking stupid? Yes, absolutely. But I do think there's a place for that thread to have the proper discord and to have the proper conversation that happened in that thread. So I think it's important to leave it up. If I can take it down, and then you know what's going to happen? Those 20, 30 people that are furious, all of a sudden they're even more furious. Now they're starting more threads. Now they're trying to like fight back with me and fight back with the system. And I don't think that's good. I think it's important to let the conversations happen. As long as they stay civil and people aren't being complete assholes, that's what a message board is for.
Right. And the last question in the football portion of the mailbag: how close were we to signing Dion to coach here, and how interested do you think he was coming here? What would this season look like for us if he had come here, seeing what he's doing at Colorado?
It was never close. Dion was in talks with Colorado for months because their coach was gone very early in the process, and they had a connection to Dion, and the AD and the president had been wooing Dion for quite some time. And by the time the UC job came open, it was done. Like, Dion was going to Colorado. The other thing is, what you have to remember is Dion could not have done here what he did at Colorado. He could not have hit the reset button and started over. There was too much talent here. There was too much winning. There was too much success. He went into a place that had hit rock bottom, and he was going to be able to be the guy that brought them back up. That's what he was looking for. He found it, and he was already way down the road by the time Luke Fickell took the Wisconsin job. It wasn't likely. And I was on these airwaves adamant. Hire Dion. Do whatever you can. But what he was looking for was Colorado. What he was not looking for was Cincinnati, where, guess what? Dion's smart enough to know coming in and following the greatest coach in the history of Cincinnati football is a bad move for him. First year in the Big 12, like that the expectations
Never want to
are
be the
already
guy
up
after
here.
the guy.
Right. The expectations are already up here. At Colorado, the expectations are down here. So it was the perfect fit for him at Colorado. He identified that and had already been deep in the process with them well before Luke Fickell left for Colorado. So
I'm just trying to picture how a meeting between Pinto and Cunningham and Dion would look, and it's a comic strip.
I don't think it's as like Dion is about the right things, like in terms of how he runs the program, how he like treats his kids, how he coaches. Like I think they would have connected on those levels. But I don't think this was a place that he could do what he wanted, where he just said, reset, like, I'm bringing in whatever I can bring in. Now, the interesting thing, Aaron, would have been
It was baggage, and it was Louis.
Yeah. Well,
that
the
was what he was bringing in.
He probably would have had access to a lot higher level of talent here going into the Big 12 in year one than he did going to a Colorado that was an absolute shit show. So he could have hit the reset button a little softer here.
Probably could have hit Texas harder, and as far as bringing in guys from Texas and what have you.
But you still would have brought in Dion Sanders. You still would have brought in Travis Hunter. But that wasn't like the two sides were never like they were on. They weren't even on the same field. Like the Colorado thing was on this field, and the Cincinnati thing was on this field. They did not.
I don't know how the circus would have. I don't know how the circus would have looked here in Cincinnati either, as far as you would never have seen 800 media credentials given out ever at a game ever.
Yeah, you would have.
No shot. Where would you have fit 800 media credentials?
They'd have figured it out. Where do you fit them in Colorado? It's not like Colorado has a massive operation.
They'd hit 600 before. I don't see 600 fitting at Cincinnati. But anyway, I digress.
He say 8.
Chuck Martin. You two just wouldn't have had a spot in the press box.
Chuck Martin. Oh, Dion would have loved me. I'd be sitting sidelines right next to Dion. But he would have said Chuck Martin said he wanted $1.5 million for playing us. We took that personal. Where's my theme music? God, I would have.
Dude, that thing is turning into off the fucking charts.
We'll find out over the next 2 weeks.
I mean, they aren't a great
celebrities.
Football team, but it's
Master P.
Who's getting all the celebrities just walk like
Dion.
that? Is
Dion.
That's
those are his boys. He knows. Look, Royer, when you're fucking prime time, you know everybody. Everybody wants to meet you. Your entire life, everybody wants to meet you. But because you weren't alive to see it as it happened, how great he was. Like
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
There's an argument he's one of the 10 best players ever in the history of football. Like
Athletes,
legitimately.
of all time.
Yeah, like
while also playing baseball.
Yeah. Like they just wanted a piece of Dion.
Could have been a track star too, is what he says.
Yeah. He could have been. For sure. So look, I would have loved it. Like it would look, man. You know how much money we would have made if Dion Sanders was a coach of Cincinnati?
Yes and no. You would have loved it for that reason, but you would have been cut out of any information from the football program.
No. You unrealistically doubt me. Who do we have on the show tonight, Aaron?
That's fine. I still don't think that
he produced a documentary.
I understand, but I don't know that
you severely underestimate our ability to do things here.
Moving on. Basketball portion of the mailbag. Wes said he is an aggressive scheduler, scale of 1 to 10 of his non-conference scheduling in terms of aggressiveness for this season.
Right now it's low.
Or overall?
It's low overall because there's been so much unknown of what does this look like. And I still don't think they're in a position like you're just ready. I know the top of the Big 12, there's 25 high major games on that schedule. I think Kansas State might have the top one. They're playing 21 high major games.
I would have loved to see them in a tournament of some sort, but obviously that wasn't the way that the cards fell.
Well, somebody else brought up a great point on that. Guess what you have to deal with in the Big 12?
The Big 12 versus the
No. When it comes to MTEs, multiple team events, you can only have one team from each conference. And right now, there's like seven really
those
good
rules are all
MTEs.
about to change real quick.
No, they're not.
You
They're
don't
not
think
going to
so?
put two teams. They're not going to put two teams from the same conference in an MTE.
If you end up with 3 super conferences, you damn sure are going to have to.
Well, I mean, that's 10 years down the road. I'm talking very specifically right now.
Maybe.
You've got to be in a situation where you can claim one of those MTEs over the best basketball conference in the country. There also was the thought that the MTE was going to be able to be NIL deal, and that has gotten kicked down the road a little bit, where when they decided that they were going to do it, they thought it was pretty likely to pan out. Now they're doing it with Dayton on a neutral site. So, yeah, I mean, you're playing 21 high major games. 2/3 of your schedule are going to be quad 1, quad 2 games. Like, going to 25, going to 23, what is that really like? Like, if you get down to the brass tacks and you're slightly at average, maybe a little below average, and you want to be one of the last teams in the tournament, maybe that could help you bump up a spot or two. But as things stand right now, I don't know that this program's ready for 23, 24, 25 high major games in a season.
I think the big thing is you have ticket holders who want the opportunity to see more big games at
You have ticket holders now that aren't going to have to watch AAC basketball from late December to March.
I'm not upset with the way he scheduled things. I'm good with it. Don't attack the messenger.
I'm telling those people, every game from late December to March is going to be a quad 1 or quad 2 game. So
I do think
the
margin of error though out of conference is very slim now. They have to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Probably both of Dayton / Xavier or.
But if they schedule 5 high major games in the out of conference and you go into the conference 8-3.
I mean, I'm not fighting. I'm just saying, it's just a margin of error.
I'm talking people through it.
Well, no, I think that final game, Howard, a home and home. Like I understand the logistics of scheduling.
If you have $120,000 to have paid for a team to come in here, then I'm sure they would take your money.
Right, but I mean, I just think certain things are just we don't know the logistics of it, but
I'm telling you the logistics of it.
Yeah,
they needed a home and home to fill that last game,
and Howard is the best they could do.
They tried a couple others that didn't work.
Yeah, I know. It's
you win some, you lose some.
Tough, yeah.
Give us something.
At 31, like they played 21 high major games this fall,
right,
or this winter. It's a lot.
Give us something happy to talk about to take our minds off the football team last weekend, even though you can't attend practices. Is there a recurring name that just keeps coming up in conversations with people who are around the team, wondering if someone is having an incredible summer or someone to keep an eye on for a big jump?
Here's the messed up part, Canadian Bearcat. We're at a point right now where even advertising that is against the rules. That's stupid. It's so stupid. I have heard a lot of good things about Seamus Lukosius. I've heard Jizzle James has really had a good run since they came back to campus. And I've been preparing for the start of practice. It's in 2 weeks. So yeah, there's some good stuff that's going on. Once practice starts in 2 weeks, I will be allowed to come to practice. So we're almost there. And I hate one of the things that you guys should know about me by now. I don't like taking other people's like propaganda essentially without my own ability to see it, because then I'm putting my name on wax for something that I can't verify. So we're almost there. We're almost there. Hopefully through October we'll have a chance to talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm able to see. We're getting there.
All right. John Newman has entered the content space in recent weeks. Who from the current team would each of you like to get on the BBP if possible?
I'd love
You
to
say
have
Vic?
on.
Yeah, Vic.
Vic.
Yeah, I mean he's a stand-up comedian. Why wouldn't you want to have
Right.
Vic on?
Like, I would love to have Vic on. He's just funny.
I've
We've had a lot of these guys have been in and out of this content space, but
Skillings.
yeah, Dan's funny for
A
sure.
little. I think Josh would be. I mean, John would be good.
as long as you didn't give Josh the aux cord, it sounds like it would be good
Yeah,
content.
right.
But
It's
they were
hilarious.
not about giving him the aux cord.
No, not one bit.
Like everyone hated his choice of music.
Right. That's the weirdest thing. And John would probably be late to the pod because he was the one everyone said would be late to the bus if they had to pick
Yeah.
one person. So
yeah,
we'll see. One of the two.
I think CJ would be fun.
CJ Freddy. Who you want on the pod, Royer?
For the
Seemed like an
basketball
Aziz
team?
guy.
Basketball team.
I
Yeah.
don't know any of the guys really.
Bring Aziz on.
Yeah, get Aziz on here, man. What Brent said.
Bandiago, oh boy. All right, next. Keep it flowing.
Have you heard about the first time I read this? I thought it said Fight Club. I will say that, which changes
We'll
this
talk about Fight Club.
which changes this entire question.
Rule
But have
number
you heard
one.
about the Flight Club for the top X percentage Cincy Rain donors? Wes talked about it at the AD tailgate recently. Sounded like a really cool, albeit no clue the dollars needed to get in. Into it feature, sort of OT. Do you guys talk to the Cincy Reigns folks regularly at all? Would love to occasionally hear about things they want to work towards or are working towards, if that's allowed / possible.
We've had Brian Fox on like 3 times, right?
This would be
since
a
Reigns started.
hilarious question if it was Fight Club instead of
It
Fight
would.
Club.
I agree.
Wes is talking about it at the AD tailgate. It sounds like it'd be fun.
The top X
Bearcat-
percentage
Yeah,
donators
Bearcat Fight Club.
in the Fight
Dude,
Club.
you guys,
Steve Boymel, round 1. Larry Shakley, round 1. Let's go.
Jerome Ford just did an unbelievable thing.
Did he?
Oh
Yeah,
my God, the speed.
he did Jerome Ford things.
Touchdown?
I mean,
Oh, he was just short by a football.
No, the football hit the ground, but his body didn't.
So Jerome Ford's a stud.
I mean, he
Dude,
already
he
scored a
looks
touchdown.
so fast. You need to watch it real time.
Uh-oh. Someone just texted in my group saying no. What does that mean?
Nick Chubb's knee was destroyed.
No, not that.
So
It
Jerome
was
Ford
after the
was
Ford
down.
play.
Oh.
Maybe just because he was
Oh wait,
short.
this might
Yeah,
be
he was short.
good
They
if
rolled him short.
Deshaun sneaks it in. I had him. Please sneak it, Deshaun.
All right, back to the mailbag again.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry, I'll mute myself. Jerome just got lit up on the goal.
No, that wasn't him. That was somebody else.
So yeah, we do talk to B Fox regularly. I talked to him on the sidelines at the game.
Me too.
I know you did. Anything to add about the Flight Club that you know about?
Yeah,
Chad?
you get special privileges if you donate a massive amount of money to Cincy Reigns. Yes. Yep. That's how that works.
Keep your beer tabs.
I don't think that's
All
how
right.
to do it. But yes.
Moving on to the last portion of the mailbag. There's only one question here really. In the Banks portion, of course, it's from the Skins. Rapid fire in honor of Miami winning the Victory Bell for the first time since 2005. We're going to have questions revolving around that year. First, what were you guys doing in 2005? I was a junior in college. And by junior, I mean third year because it took me 5.
So I was working my ass off to get into this. Like, had not started with Bearcat Layer yet. Was calling high school games. Kelly and I were in the early phases of dating, not quite yet married. I was poor. I was poor as fuck at that point in time, actually. You know,
Royer was 6.
A young lad.
You were a young
I
lad.
didn't really know what I was doing. I was just being a kid, man. Nothing better than being a kid.
Coloring in the lines.
05. I'm trying to remember if I was an 8th grader or a freshman in high school, but
probably both.
math-
that's how years span.
Math ain't mathed, but let's say I was getting elected as freshman class president for hey, big B. Hey now. But yeah, that was about I was a young lad as well.
2005
I was 11 years. I was a decade removed from high school. Like in 2005, I was going to a high school reunion.
That was Brent's first cotillion.
I was still I was still figuring out like what alcohol was. Didn't even have a sip yet. Now look where we are.
All right, better song, Gold Digger by Kanye or Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy. I'm going to go with Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
I'm going Kanye.
Yeah, that was back when
Gold Digger.
Kanye was.
I love Kanye too. I know that's kind of a bad thing to say nowadays, but I love his music.
Yeah, that was the beginning stages. So you can say it for this time.
Ryan, separating the art from the artist.
There you go.
Who was hotter in 2005, Jessica Alba or Sarah Michelle Gellar? Give me
Jessica Alba. Alba all day. All day.
Although, what was that one movie where Sarah Michelle Gellar was like amazing?
I don't know. Was Tara Reid still smoking in 2005, or was she an alien at that point?
I don't know if she had
I don't even know if she was alive at it.
Surgery. She's still alive.
Oh, never mind. Gross. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Buffy the
Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, it's Buffy
the Vampire Slayer.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm thinking of the Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, she's still hot as shit.
All right.
Let's see here. Tara Reid. Van Wilder came out in 2002. So yes, we were all on to a little bit of Tara Reid.
Yeah, we had moved on at that point.
Yeah. I'm on to Oklahoma.
Follow-up question. Assuming Chad uses his sweet sponsor money to reboot a 2005 top TV show. By the way, if you want to sponsor any of these segments, including the mailbag, sponsorships are out for the grabs. Reach out to Chad. Slide in the DMs.
We got some stuff. We got some stuff that's available right now. Not a lot, but a lot.
But if Chad's rebooting a 2005 top TV show, aka The Office, who's playing what characters out of the BCJ staff and board members?
I mean, there's really only one 2005 show I think that fits this crew. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That was back in 2005?
Yeah, it was out
Holy
in 2005.
crap.
Right. It started, that was the first year, 2005.
I'm Charlie Day.
I'm Danny DeVito, obviously. Royer, are you a Always Sunny guy?
He'd be Mac.
Everyone tells me I need to be in on it.
He'd be Mac.
He would. He would be Mac.
What is that?
The guy who's always running around with no sleeves on.
Oh, with the slick back hair.
Yep.
Yeah. I need to watch
I think
it.
it
My
would.
brother
I think
told
we
me
would
that,
be
but-
Always Sunny. Like, you know, Reagan is the feisty chick that like doesn't take shit from anybody. I don't know what role Keegan would have.
The waitress.
Keegan would be the waitress.
Yep.
So what? And
Yep,
am
I think
I
it's fair.
am I Dennis? I'll take Dennis.
Who's DeVito?
Dennis is the smart one who's always coming up with whatever it is that they're doing, which turns out to be not so smart.
Right.
Right.
I would be DeVito for sure. For sure.
There you go.
So yeah.
That's the
There you
mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Hey now, anything in closing,
We're an
guys?
all-star. Get your game on. Go
Let
play.
the pain
Hey
fester
now.
for a year, and don't let it stop until we are absolutely gut stomping the Red Hawks.
Ryan's
remember
going to be
those-
Oxford.
Ryan's going to be giving a pregame or a pre-week speech
Oracle.
for the victory bill.
Don't forget how much it fucking hurts, and let it build for a whole year.
Trying to make it
There's
sound like a
nothing
bell.
that can fix it other than beating them next year. No, Oklahoma wouldn't fix it.
Yeah,
It would be nice,
I don't like that. I don't like
but it
that
wouldn't fix it.
damn bell they were ringing out there. They probably were like, oh,
They
whoa,
were
this
still
is
ringing
heavier
it as
than
we were leaving.
they're like, this is heavier than I remember.
Yeah, they were still ringing it in the locker room after the pressers,
heavier than I thought. It would
during
be.
and after the pressers, for that matter.
Yeah, they're probably shocked. They were like, oh, this thing is heavy. I didn't even know how heavy it was. I've never seen it. Oh, anyway, man. Big shout out, big thank you, of course, to our guy, Danco Transmission Auto Care. You thought I was going to say something. Danco Joe, we love you, man. Thank you, as always. Thank you to Quick Paper Supply. Thank you as well to Home Field Apparel. And a huge shout out and huge thank you to Dana Beers coming on the pod yet again, friend of the pod. If you didn't hear that, go back and check it out.
And
But,
Jerome Ford. 69-yard run, had a touchdown
Nice.
catch, got him to the one. They punched it in.
Big,
It's going to be a
shout.
problem. And it looks like Nick Chubb is probably done.
Yeah, big
least
shout
for
out.
the
Thank you to Jerome Ford as well. Yes.
I'd be done forever.
Ooh, oh God. But you know what? Big game this weekend. Big 12 noon kickoff. Big noon kickoff. Big 12 will be in town for the tailgate. It's gonna be awesome. Oklahoma this weekend. Huge chance to bounce back. But for my guys, my pals, we're gonna
Love
be
you,
talking about
Crypt
it all.
Keeper.
We're gonna be talking about it all week. Stay locked in BCJ. For my guys, pals, partners, friends, Aaron Smith, Chad Brenner, Ryan Royer. I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearCatJournal.com.
See it.